Yo! Good morning, Twitch! What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Saturday morning. I don't think I've had that much energy since 1984 and Saturday morning cartoons came on. Welcome to episode 2 of the Division Debrief. It is awesome to be back with you guys again. Again, live from the mysterious Rick Velasquez safe house. I am JohnnyBoom. This gentleman over here, is it this way? It's the other way. We'll get it right. See, it's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. This gentleman over here is the one, the only, the bearded wonder, my friend and co-host and consigliere in life, if you will, Mr. I am Janko. Janko, good morning. Ooh. Yeah, get some free potatoes, yeah. Janko's muted. Oh. We'll fix it, guys. We had some technical issues this morning, so just try to stay with us and bear with us. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kirky. Janko will keep working that behind the scenes. Good morning to everybody. Janko, just jump in at any point. I'll just kind of say hi and keep talking to everybody just to keep everything going. You can say weird words if you want. We actually did that this morning. It was a lot of fun. We were doing an audio test, and Janko's like, say something. And I'm like screaming like different words that I can't do on stream because it'd be weird.
Right. How about now? Are we good now? I don't know.
Good morning, guys. Kirky, good morning, Petey. I see you guys. Craig, how are you, man? Good to see you in the stream.
Okay. Anyways.
Janko's good. Cool. I'm going to shut up. I'll let Janko say hi and introduce himself. Good morning, everybody. Janko, good morning.
What's up, guys? Sorry about that. Just as a brief explanation of what was going on, I woke up today. I woke up today and launched everything, and it literally undid all of the scene work that we had done in OBS over the past 2 weeks. So scenes weren't in there, audio wasn't in there. I had to reset up everything in about an hour and a half. So we had plans to get together, do some show brief and stuff like that, and had none of that time. So yay! Yeah, so that's why we went a little bit longer before we could get going, and that's why things may look a little bit differently this week than it did last week. But I am super geeked to be here again. I had a blast last week with this, and I have been having an absolute shit ton of fun. Oops, I forgot. I was supposed to watch my mouth a little bit more. Because we're Saturday morning, right? We're supposed to be like cartoons, so
listen to the sounds.
right. You know, it's supposed to be like cartoons, right? You don't turn on Bugs Bunny and hear a bunch of F-bombs and stuff.
See
so,
the sounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to watch it a little bit more today. But yeah, no. So this morning's been rough, but I have been having a blast in the beta. I hope you guys have, and Johnny, what do you... Oh, shit, I just remembered... Oops, I just did it again. I just remembered what I wanted to tell you before we went live, and now I guess I can tell you now. Slight delay between Janko's mouth audio like an old Kung Fu movie. Oh, yeah, there is. I have no idea how to fix that, so we're just going to have to deal with it today and hope it solves itself. I will also say my PC is on its death throes, so we're going to see what happens. But you know what? Oh, yeah. I can talk. Like an old Kung Fu movie. I'll make Kung Fu moves. Also, that's why, shout out to the mods. Thank you guys for being here. But the shout out command I don't think is working yet. So I tried to get it working, but with everything else going on, I did not have a chance to actually get that working. But anyway, on to the beta stuff. I've been having a blast. Johnny, what are your thoughts? Chat, what are your guys' thoughts about the beta overall? And also, I do have some codes for PS4. If anybody hasn't been able to get in, and shout out to Amper Camper. This is what I forgot to tell you, Johnny. Shout out to Amper. He actually gave us 3 codes for Xbox.
What do we got?
So we got 3 codes for Xbox. If anybody needs
rock on.
Xbox codes, I've got a couple for PS4. If anybody wants those, I don't know if the friends things got turned on, so I don't know if Johnny can hook up anybody on on PC yet, but I'm not sure. I know it got turned off because there was a bug. What's up? So how are you liking the beta so far, Johnny?
Well, the beta is actually going pretty good. Hold on 1 second.
Cue Johnny. I hate the running.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Unless I turn up the stream.
That's really weird.
Guys, just give me 1 second.
I'll be super delayed.
So there's like a delay in what I could hear from you.
Why did I mute out of Discord? I have no idea. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
Fix that real quick.
How about that? Is that better? That didn't fix it, Johnny? Okay, guys, give us 1 sec. Sorry, I'm having some technical issues. Johnny's camera is going to be interesting. Well, I got you, Johnny. I got it. I got it.
Open for now because I can't hear Janko.
I got you, I think. Can you hear me, Johnny?
Oh, okay. Well, let me know.
Can you hear me now?
I'll check back in a minute or two. I have the stream open just so I could read chat. Because otherwise, the way Janko and I have it set up, it's really hard for me to read the stream chat on the screen, the other screen I'm looking at. At any rate, the beta for me so far has been a really good experience. You know, I've been talking to a lot of people about it. As far as like what they like, what they don't like whenever they come and stream, whenever I've been talking to people on Discord or Twitter, I would say overall my impressions so far have been about a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It kind of like jumps around between bullet points without diving too much into it. The PvP has been fun. It feels really fast and it feels really like you have to really plan out how you want to go rogue and how you want to play your PvP. I would say there's a lot of little things I like about it. I think graphically, everyone that was saying like it wasn't looking all that good. Questioning the graphics maybe even. I gotta tell you, man, I've been running mine, granted on Ultra or even 1080. I've been jockeying between the two. I really think the graphics and the attention to detail in the game may look better than the first one. There's a lot of subtle details that I like. So yeah, I would say overall, I really like the experience. I think, yeah, with anything that's new, it's new, it's shiny, it's fun. But yeah, I think overall, I think they're on the right path. I mean, of course, and we'll get into it. There's going to be things that they adjust. But, we've seen games that come out that have been, really convoluted and had a lot of problems. And I don't see this as I don't see any real major, glaring, disturbing things that are going on. I think it's a lot of little tweaking, which is what the beta's for. So,
can you hear me now, Johnny?
I would say overall pretty good. 7 out of 10, maybe an 8. So pretty solid. Can't complain.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me now. I'm trying to figure out what the hell the issue is because in Discord, what I'm going
to have to do is I'll just pull up the stream.
It's really strange because in Discord I'm not muted, but for some reason and that's why for a minute you actually weren't even on the screen because I was trying to go into Discord and check my voice to you, and for some reason like my Yeti is set up. That's the one. Input volume's there, but
there we go. I got you.
You got me now?
Yes, sir.
That's so weird. Do you still have me now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I have
Thanks
no
guys
idea.
for being patient with us.
I literally didn't do
It's
anything
fine.
there that I didn't do while you were talking. So, but oh well, we got it now. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely one of the smoother betas. As far as technical issues go, I think that there are a ton of bugs and a lot of crap that they need to fix. But On the other technical side of it, especially coming out of the Anthem demo, where, you know, you had people that couldn't log in, you had people that, you know, were constantly getting booted, and I know that there's Delta errors, and I think that's been hitting PC a little bit more than it's been hitting some other than the consoles, but I do know some people that were really complaining last night on PS4 of just getting booted constantly while trying to do missions, not being able to get into missions, stuff like that. I haven't had too much of that issue, so it seems to me that it's gone really, really smooth. To me, the bugs and technical issues are more part of gameplay itself and not so much on the server side of things. I had a few desync issues, but not too much. So yeah, Chad, I'm kind of curious what your guys' experience has been. Kirky says one of the smoother betas. I tend to agree. The amount of gear that's going to be in this game is going to be ridiculous. Yeah, Petey, I agree with that completely. So we'll get into like the goods, bads, and stuff like that. But right now, overall wise, I really think it's been a pretty successful beta. I was watching some entitled prickbags this morning. Some entitled people this morning on Twitter complaining about the maintenance downtime and how, you know, oh, I can't play. They should extend it. And I'm like, dude, they're fixing stuff. So, you know.
It's literally a beta, and they have a window, and they have, you know, people working behind the scenes, and, you know, and they don't really need to extend it an extra 3 hours just to appease us, to be honest. It's one of those things. It's like they want to get a certain amount of data, and they literally pretty much said this. They want a certain amount of data. They want to collect it, analyze it, do what they have to do. The longer that they do the beta, then it probably messes up other schedule things for them too. So it is, I would imagine, a lot of scheduling, a lot of, you know, by the third day, like, they're gonna have enough data and enough information to go with it. I'm not really overly concerned with that. I mean, yeah, that's a good thing that people want to play. They're anxious to play. They're jonesing to play. You know, I think the thing that's really good so far about the beta, I don't see anything structurally with the game that's flawed. For example, I mean, aside from the running, running's God, I hate running. Well, I mean, that's like a kind of meme that's taken on its own life. But I would say, like, what I mean as far as like structure, like, you know, you turn on the game and it consistently crashes at one point. You know, across all three platforms, across, you know, everybody's experience. It's one of those things. Told you, bada boom. Yeah, dude, it's terrible. It's not good. I'm sorry. It's like saying pineapple on pizza is good. It's just not. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, the thing that I like is I don't see anything that's groundbreakingly bad. Like, I go to hit a button to throw a grenade and it won't throw it. I go to shoot my gun and all of a sudden my character flips upside down and is singing show tunes. You know what I mean? I think what's there is bugs, things that, and I don't know coding. I don't know, you know, how that goes, programming and all that. What do you think, Janko? I don't think it's anything that they can't go in there and go dee 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 on the keyboard and rectify and get the you know, the technical people on the payroll, get them cranking away at fixing things. I mean, bugs are inevitable.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, they are. I think Hooker, I'm kind of curious which system were you on that you were getting booted constantly yesterday?
I still was getting booted a little bit yesterday, to be honest with you.
On PC. Crumb says, yeah, crashes yesterday were ridiculous. Crumbs, are you on PC also? Yeah, see, and that's the thing. Like yesterday, I think I streamed for 12 or so hours yesterday.
Okay. Nice.
Minus a PC issue. And I think I only crashed. I didn't delta once, but the game itself crashed, I think, twice. I had none of the desync issues that I had on day one, where, like, day one, every 2.5 hours, I had to completely kill the application. Otherwise, I would get ridiculous frame drops to the point that the game was completely unplayable. And then I know that they did a thing yesterday. They had maintenance yesterday morning, and it seems to have fixed a lot of it. Yesterday, like, on that end of things that I had seen from one day to the next. I still saw some of like the graphical bugs, invisible enemies,
Sure.
stuff like that, which is funny because when Foxhound was here on Thursday, he and I were having a conversation about it, and we were like, dude, those are just, and it's the worst mindset in the world, but he said, dude, that's just part of the division. Right? Like,
Yeah,
you get used to it.
You kind of do, and I feel like, again, like, not to undermine a bug. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating, and it's maybe even very noticeable. Like Kirky mentioned about an audio bug. I've actually had a few instances with audio where it's like glaringly loud, and then it's like quiet. And I'm like, well, is that my internet? Because where I am, I don't have the greatest internet. Is that like a delay? Is that, what could it be? Is it the game itself, or is it outside forces too? You know what I mean? I look at it again, like, I don't think there's anything that glaringly, like, troublesome. Like, oh man, aside from like either buffing or nerfing, I don't consider that a bug, and you shouldn't. I think overall, yeah, from that standpoint, I think the experience has been solid.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, the audio bugs are weird for me because Thursday when Fox and I were playing, I remember I got a showstopper. I had the AA-12 or whatever it's called. It's not actually called a showstopper, but for people that didn't know, all of the exotic guns that were in Division 1 are in Division 2 as just regular guns, as their regular names. So, like, I got a green and a blue version of it. I'm assuming there's still purple and probably a high-end version of it. The gun's freaking awesome. But anyway.
Yeah, that thing is badass, dude. I actually caught your stream, and I was like, that thing just sounds mean. And just to jump in quick, you know what else sounds mean? That Gatling gun sounds badass, man.
The one on the
minigun, the mounted guns.
Yeah, that thing's pretty sweet. I haven't found the Urban MDR. Foxhound found an Urban MDR also. It was weird because Thursday Fox, when we were in the Dark Zone and stuff like that, and I had the showstopper, he's like, dude, that thing just sounds mean. And I couldn't hear it at all. Like, I just, and so I don't know if that was because we were in a PlayStation party, and you know how, like, when you're in a voice party on PlayStation, it prioritizes your party chat over game sound. So I think maybe that's why, because yesterday when I had it, I jumped in there a little bit, and oof, man, that thing did sound badass. So I didn't notice any audio bugs or anything yesterday. So I don't know, maybe that was just part of the MDR PlayStation thing. Wow. Yeah, I think it's still just called the MDR, but I haven't seen one yet in game. Oh no, that's not true. I got one yesterday when I was doing the high-end stuff. Which is where, when we get to glaring bugs and problems, oh my god, man. Anybody that was watching my stream yesterday saw me rage so fucking much. And supposedly there was somebody in chat from Ubisoft, and they were like, what do you think so far? The person said they were from Ubisoft. I'm not exactly sure, because you can never trust anybody on the internet. And Imp was actually laughing because he was like, trust Janko to never mince words. But they were like, what do you think of it so far? And I'm like, I fucking love it, but if this bug doesn't get fixed, there's going to be massive fucking issues. But
yeah,
because the grenade bug is back.
I saw you talking about that in your stream. I was lurking on the way home, and it's so nice to fire up this game and see the game. Like, visually, it looks great. I mean, little things. I know we're kind of off the topic here, but like, just things that like make you want to play it. The way these guys are token up, the hyenas, the new factions, the fact that these guys are more in cover, they're flanking a lot more. When you go for your headshots, even on PC, you really need to make like accurate shots. There's not as much forgiveness in the shooting as there was in Division 1, in my opinion. I mean, some of the weapons I feel are really cool. But the Jianchus, dude, that's what we were trying to figure out that time, Janko. Like, what's that energy bar? And we solved that mystery.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I'm really excited about where this beta is and where what bugs are going on and how they could fix it, because I don't think it's anything that's going to be groundbreakingly hard for them to say, okay, for example, like the drone is so borked, we're going to have to scrap it, because they were supposed to get it in Division 1. and for other reasons, maybe it was bugs, maybe it was technical, maybe they just weren't ready to present it the right way. They
Hold on,
scrapped
guys.
it. You know?
I just lost Johnny's feed. There we go. I think I got you back.
Okay.
I hope.
Oh, there we go.
I hope. Well, I got you broken up. Keep talking.
I call them
I'll
meth
see
heads.
what I can do.
Yo, what's up, Cabana? Technical issues are
Yep.
always fun. Which, guys, just kind of bear with us if you don't mind. Please and thank you. Hey, I think we see it.
Wait, why? You shouldn't see me, though, in there. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. Give me 1 sec, guys. We'll get it fixed, I promise.
See, they don't have to worry about this on the news, but we do.
Right. Totally.
It's honestly, guys, and I have to say this, and I want to say thank you to you, Janko. This morning, Janko was scrambling to fix a lot of the setup issues that we had. A lot of it was basically the long and the short was Streamlabs gave us a headache. He scrambled at the last hour, so shout out to Janko. Thank you for waking up early and scrambling to fix this, and then even now, it's actually a real pain in the rear end to get it to run the way we want, and he does an awesome job in trying to facilitate that. I'm gonna, while he's doing that, and of course you could always chime in, Jacob. But what are you guys? What's the right now the biggest bug that you see that really concerns you? I mean, because it's a beta, we get there's going to have bugs, but is there something out there that you're like, oh man, this bug is really worrying me? Like Janko said, like with his stream last night, he ran into that problem with that particular issue. Do you guys have one particular issue that you're really concerned about? And are you afraid that they're not going to fix it too? You haven't really come across any? Dude, that's awesome, Craig. I'm glad you're having an awesome experience, man. For real. Grenade stagger. Yeah, that's really frustrating, Kirky. It feels like, you know, after all this time, that shouldn't still be there. The fact that it's lingering amongst 2 games, that worries me a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's pretty close. Thank you, Janko. You just got it today, though. Are you planning to play a lot today, Craig? You know, my overall impressions, I haven't had any bugs in my gameplay that I've noticed that have affected my experience. I've seen some random NPCs just standing around like mannequins. Maybe that's a bug, but did it affect how I shot the NPCs or other players? No. A lot of deltas still for me. That is a little weird, but we'll see. Double reload is still around too. Yes. I actually have that. Janko, have you gotten that one, the double reload?
What's the double reload? I don't know.
Basically, so like let's say you're shooting, you know, your weapon and you reload and you go to shoot, and if like you move just slightly, it'll say like you have 60 rounds or whatever, and then it'll actually reload again. So you'll be in the middle of reloading in the open or wherever, or even in cover. It basically is just reloading the gun twice, but it will say you have a full mag in there, but it forces you to reload.
No, the only thing that I've run across with reloading is if your magazine is, say, 60. Let's say you've got, like, especially with the extended mag, and you reload, you'll get an extra round.
A lot of people are having that right now. I don't know why that is.
I have a feeling I know what it is. And this could just be me going crazy, but I know with the extended mags, they just add like 30 bullets, right? And I have a feeling that instead of being percentage based, because I think there's a perk that also gives you a percentage of bonus ammo. So I think, like, let's say it's 10% on a 30 round mag, that's like 3 extra rounds, and maybe for some reason it gives you 2 on one and 1 on the other, or something weird like that. I don't really know, but man, that grenade bug, oof, dude.
I know. I saw you last night, man. You looked hot, and then that troll came in, and you were like, "Oh man, that's like literally like the perfect storm." But you handled it well on the side.
Oh, screw that guy. But you know,
exactly,
dude. Trolls are more than welcome in my stream. They provide me with content, and I'm smarter and funnier than they are. But like honestly, it just dude that. It was hard for me to figure out if I suck or if those missions are really as difficult as they were.
Which mission was it?
Just any of the the invaded mission.
I
Because
haven't tried any of those yet. I heard they're a little challenging though.
I had no issue whatsoever from 1 to 7, right? You die from time to time. Most of it due to me, getting annihilated because I'm trying to face tank everything. I literally have a post-it note. I was laughing with Johnny. I have a post-it note on the bottom of my monitor. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. It says "Stay in cover." That I literally have it on the bottom of my monitor to try to remind myself to stay in cover.
God.
But the weird thing is, like, with the end game builds that they give you, the sharpshooter has 2 unbelievably amazing guns. I think there's a marksman rifle that I think is the SRSA-1 or something like that, and then there's the SIG 716 or something like that. It's a semi-automatic rifle, right?
I have that one.
That thing, that combination of guns is so amazing that, like, you can sit back in combat, or you can sit back and cover the 716, I think it is. Like, you can take 3 or 4 shots. If you can land a couple body shots, you brain them. The marksman rifle that you get, that thing is like one shots just about anything other than maybe an armored purple bar or a high end. You might take a couple shots, but that thing is amazing. And then you couple it with the 50 cal that literally 2 shots the main boss of the invaded mission, and will 1 or 2 shot almost it will 1 shot anything other than a named, and I think the names take 2 shots. So, like, that made the second time that I ran through with that guy, I think I died twice, like almost no issues whatsoever. When I struggle bust for almost 2 hours with the survivalist. Part of it also is the survivalist ammo. I am most curious with anybody in chat that did these. What did you think of the ammo economy as far as the invaded missions? Because I know that we're still talking about bugs and stuff, but I don't know, maybe I'm jumping topics, and that's bad. But yeah, so like the ammo economy, when I was on survivalist, I literally ran it through essentially 2 full times, and I got 4 extra arrows in 2 full runs through. Like, I first got in there, I had it, and I was like, let's see what this thing does. My first 2 shots went through an NPC. And then I ran out of ammo, and through 2 full runs, I only got 4 extra arrows. I got 2 drops totally, or 2 drops in total. Whereas sniper ammo felt really, really on. Sometimes it felt like it was raining a little bit. Times it was a little bit low. But for the most part, I always seem to have it. Now that's also because I'm not as good with snipers, so I used it less. But it seemed like I always had it when I really needed to use it. But man. And then Demolitionist seemed a little low, but nowhere near what Survivalist is. So I'm really curious if that is an actual bug in the game. So that's why I'm curious what it was. Kirky says crossbow ammo was for shits too. So
yeah, someone else said that last night. Would you consider, and this is more of a question, and I don't know if we have the exact answer, but hey, that's why we're here, right? So I noticed last night, again, being on PC, it's generally, a little easier to shoot, and let's say, for example, headshots, right? Generally speaking, of course. I noticed last night that I had, and this could have been lag, it could have been a lot of things, but I felt like there were some instances where I was directly on target and the reticle was red, and I was, clicking my mouse and I was landing shots, but they were coming up as a miss. And I don't know if that was a bug or if that just means, like, yeah, the reticle was on and then the shot just kind of tailed because a bullet dropped. Maybe it's authentic, maybe it's not. But I noticed that was a little frustrating as well. I feel like the hitbox was like a little skewed, but again, it could have been connection or could have been whatever. I don't know if anyone else experienced that. Yeah. I wanted to touch upon something real quick that Kirky was asking me, because I was saying, like, I just dropped my chair down a little bit. I had a lot of deltas even still yesterday. Not as much as Thursday, but I still was getting them. And no, Kirky, I don't think it's my internet because I'm hardwired in and my connection was strong. I wasn't dropping frames. But even Beard and the guys, they were all getting locked up And what would happen is we literally would all be frozen in place, literally, and then it would be like Beard gone, Era gone, Woodsy gone. We played in a group. We had a 4-stack, and literally you would see it go cling, 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 cling in that order, and then everybody would get dealted, and then we'd all have to reboot back in. That's kind of like swaying me from not wanting to play a little right now, because like you start getting in the mix of it, and it's to be expected. It's just annoying.
Yeah, on that issue in particular, I remember I struggled so hard with Survivalist because I couldn't get through the invaded mission, and I finally got to the end boss, finally killed him, had to do it with no ammo because I didn't have any arrows. There was 2 red bars left, and as I was running to the red bar, boom, it just crashed, and that was one of my crashes. What I have a feeling happens when that happens, when you see your entire group just boom, 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 boom go, is I think that server instance just crashed. Either the server that you were on crashed, so everybody goes, or depending on how they set up shards for their servers. I don't know the technical side of it, so I don't know how they do it, but I'm assuming that shard might crash or something like that. So an error on one causes an error on the other.
Well, it was weird because the guys that we happened to get this one particular group, and I will say this. The one group we were going against, they weren't toxic, they weren't emoting, we were just going rogue, and they were going rogue, and I'll get to that in a quick second, but basically, like, we would get booted, and you'd see them just running around us, and then all of a sudden, we'd finally get delted and get kicked out, so I don't know exactly what it was. Now, granted, a lot of those guys are on the West Coast, more or less. I think Beard is for sure. I don't know about the other guys. Actually, Beard and one other guy were, and I think the other, I think Era and myself. So I think we were like 2 East Coast, 2 West Coast. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a cover hitbox issue.
Yeah, Kirky just brought that up, and you were talking about the reticle misses. So that could be part of that. I know I had an instance in the invaded mission. When you get past the very first part, and then you're in that first kind of like long room, and there's like an office, something on your left, and then there's like a room over here with some chairs and stuff. And I had run to the left, and I was behind that desk, and I'm standing up, and every time I would ADS, it would actually ADS at the countertop in front of me as if I was crouched behind it and not looking up. It was really weird. So like, but that was that issue. So that kind of sounds like a little bit of what Kirky was talking about. And then the only other time that I found what you had mentioned about like the reticle being red, you take a shot and you miss, is with the drones. That the NPCs.
I haven't done that. Yeah.
Yeah, the drones, I kind of had a really hard time hitting them, and I don't know if it's just because the hitbox is real small or if it's because my aim is crap, which it is. But I really had an issue, especially at range. I also had an issue where I would hear the drone person like sending drones up, and I looked on my scope and I would see her there. She's doing the motion, and I would look up to where they are, and they're just not there. Like the drones just haven't even rendered in. And then the next thing I know, they're like swooping at me like just crazy dive bomb birds, and I'm dead. So
now here's my question. Okay, so in regards to this is a general topic. Again, any questions, guys? Just kind of FYI. I'm always posing them to Janko, but please don't hesitate to jump in and put your opinions in chat. We'll try to read them. We can't get to them all, but definitely add us, or you could at JohnnyBoom, or you could at the Division Debrief, which is Janko, and we'll do our best to get questions, and we want to hear your feedback. It is community driven. What's that?
We had a jet drone. Yeah, I had a rocket hit me in the face yesterday from that boss.
Here's my question, right? Do you guys think, and of course, Janko, I mean, I'll let you take the lead on this, and I'll listen in on chat as well. So in regards to like bugs, right? Do you think it's just a matter of they're giving us a certain amount of the product right now, and they are aware of a particular, in this case, let's say, for example, let's focus on one, right? Grenade bug. Grenade bug. Do you think they know about it, but they're putting out the product for us to test the data to see what may be good, bad, or indifferent with it. And then they're like, look, we know it's there. We want you to test all the different variables and scenarios and situations. And then we're going to go back and clean it up after the fact. Not that they're purposely putting out a game with bugs, but maybe they know it's not as pristine as they want. But with the data and because that's what they're gathering, all this data. They even said that the other day, like they're capturing kills and et cetera, et cetera. Do you think that's like a possibility as far as like them planning? Again, not planning to give us bugs, but maybe giving us something and saying, here, run with us and give us the data and we'll do our best to clean it up. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's true for some of them, especially. Some of the, especially like the teleporting enemies, like those things that happen very, very often, I'm sure that they know about. They have to know about it, right? We have to remember that like the beta that we've got is at least 2 to 3 weeks old, right? Because of the certification process. It's not as bad as Anthem's. I was really pissed off at Anthem about us getting a build that was 6 weeks old at minimum, because and then calling it a demo. I think that's absolutely absurd. But with this one, I think, holy crud, that alert was loud in my ears. But with this one, I think certain things they definitely know about. Well, no, I had turned down the follow alert because I knew it was low, but I forgot to turn down the host alert. So it just like blasted in my ears, and I was like, oh, I'm being teleported someplace. But yeah, no, I think that they know about some, but they may not have known, like Kirky had just said, they probably had 50 testers at max, and now they have thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands.
To do, man. I'm not going to lie.
I think part of it, no, it was totally cool, Diddy. I appreciate the host, man.
Thanks, Diddy. Don't worry, man.
Totally cool. It shocked me. But yeah, no, I think that they knew about, like, even the grenade bug, right? They probably knew, hey, maybe this will still be in there, but we don't know how prevalent it is. And now that they've got this many people, now they can, like, prioritize it, right? If they capture all the data, then they can say, okay, this is happening a shit ton, and it's game breaking. So, obviously that's number one. This one sucks. Hopefully we can get it fixed, so that way they can take this data and do that. But, like, honestly, I'm going to rant about that effing thing forever, because I still don't understand how if they just made this game from the ground up, how does a bug from Division 1 get in here? Like, it blows my mind. But
of course, Craig, ask away, man.
That irritates me. But yeah, I totally think that they know about it and that they'll fix it.
I'm wondering if that's part of like the engine, because Snowdrop did the first one, and that's very much like a mechanic of the core game, because they were producing both around the same time, and that's what was mind blowing when they were initially. If you look back, that was crazy to me. They're like, yeah, man, we've been developing this game for 2 years. I'm like, Division 1's been out for a year or a year and a half at one point. I think it might have even been, I think it was around a year and a half when they announced the second one was coming out, or maybe a year. I don't remember exactly. I apologize. But I thought it was really interesting that they're like, yeah, we've been developing basically both. So to me, it's not really that surprising that it's in. It's surprising to me that they still, something's tweaking that they haven't been able to, for lack of a better term, like nail down and clear up that. I mean, sometimes with bugs, it's like whack-a-mole. You get one, and the coding messes up another one. And, for the record, I mean, one day we should maybe bring in somebody who has some knowledge about that or some background information. And, that'd be really cool to get to hear, like, the other technical side. Because right now, essentially, we're knowledgeable, but we're guessing for the most part, right? Which is fine. I mean, that's what we're here for, to discuss it and see. I'm really curious to see if they get that fixed, because that's really frustrating.
Yeah, somebody in chat yesterday,
it really does ruin the experience, because you're like, boom.
No, it totally doesn't. Somebody in chat yesterday brought up the fact that they wonder if it's because the grenades are hitboxes instead of, because the grenades themselves, you can shoot them out of the air, right? You see it, and that's why it's so prevalent to me in this as opposed to like Division 1 even, because I know that the grenade stagger bug was in Division 1. but like you didn't see the grenade flying at you other than like this, a couple of pixels flying at you. Now you see the hitbox around it, so it makes it so much more prevalent. And there were times that I was literally, I could see the grenadier or whatever. Here it was like launching a grenade, thunk, and then as soon as I heard that thunk, I got hit with the concussion and took damage, but then I could still see the grenade flying at me, and then I get hit with the second amount of damage while I'm out of cover and dead.
Well, just quickly then, like, it's interesting, and it's funny you bring that up. So in the first one, like you say, exactly, you'd get grenade out, and then it would be like, you'd get the thump, and then it would launch near you, and then you'd get the big red, area of explosion, AoE, if you're following your acronyms.
Right.
And then it felt like you'd get that good second, maybe even two, which felt like a lifetime. Now, like you said, they'll pop the pin and then they'll throw it. You'll see the grenade coming with the hitbox around it. And then there's no AoE around you. It's like that grenade goes, it lands, and then boom. I'm wondering too if you think is that maybe even a bug? Like the grenades are exploding, like literally it feels like to me, like they'll throw a grenade and then once they hit the surface in front of you or behind you or on you, boom, the grenade is going right off. And traditionally grenades are timed.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're lining up the timing the right way. I haven't really looked that carefully. I know I'm pulling, hairs, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on. It could depend on the type of grenades. I found yesterday there were some enemies that were throwing Molotov cocktails, and I knew that he was getting ready to throw something, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna see, because I didn't notice the grenade stagger at 1 to 7 at all. I never noticed it. Like the 1 to 7, and then my first part in the Dark Zone up to level 10 in the Dark Zone, I didn't notice it at any point in time until I was doing the invaded missions yesterday. So it's possible it's a server issue, like Kirky brought up. My only issue with that, or my only thought about that, is it was not in the Division 1 until 1.6 or 1.7. Because that was not a thing.
Yeah, that's true. It's a late bug. That's a good point.
So like it was later in the development. And I remember when the Division 2 got announced at E3 2 years ago, there was a bunch of people in chat that like, yay, best part about it, even though they're not working on Division 1 anymore, no more grenade bug. And I just found it to be the most ironic yesterday that it was still there. But when the dude threw the Molotov cocktail at me, immediate fire, whatever, no concussion. But I haven't had a grenade thrown at me again, 1 to 7 from another person. But I did notice there's no red AoE area to like warn you where it's going to hit, just like what you just said. And there's no grenade indicator on screen to tell you what direction it like landed at.
Because okay, now is that a bug or is that intentional? Because I gotta tell you, man, that really changes the playing field. Like, whether you're on hard, challenging, whatever, difficulties they have. I really find that interesting. Like, I brought that up to Beard the other day in stream. I said, it's pretty interesting how a lot of these guys, they're like flanking and they're moving around. Especially the hyenas, they're in cover a lot more. They're not just like a run of, you still see a little bit of it, which is kind of cool. But you still see like a run of shotgunners just run like straight at you. I noticed in like Division 1, you had a lot of like groupings of guys. And it's now they're kind of more spread out. You might have a guy in this room, one guy up top, one guy below, they're flanking you. And when they start throwing grenades, I'm wondering if that's a bug or intentional. I don't know. I suppose we could always ask them.
Yeah, I think we need to ask about that. And that's part of what the beta is about,
that's a good point. You don't know where they're coming from. You just see this like red box, come flying in at you and you're like, oh shit. And it literally just explodes, but
yeah.
That's why I was reading those comments. I was like, Kirky said different grenades had different explosion timings, but they really don't. Like when they're throwing like the tear gas or they're throwing the frags or whatever, like the grenades are hitting, and no matter what type they are, they're going right off as soon as they land. So it's kind of like, it's kind of weird. I don't really know if that's intentional.
Yeah, I think
it's really caused me to change my playstyle a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think next time I get in tonight, I'm definitely gonna go through and mess around with that. I also have to say, I don't know if it's a bug or not, but the fact that you can't change grenade types without going into the menu is frustrating and stupid.
I haven't done that yet personally.
It's
Sadly, I haven't
so
tried
stupid.
that yet. Really?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm making a list of bugs that I found. Can't change grenade types without going into a menu. So like I'm keeping a list in Microsoft Word of all of the bugs that I found and stuff like that, just so that I can do my job and report them. So like,
hey, it makes the game better, right?
The grenade timing issue thing, I definitely want to go in tonight and test that out some. Because I haven't noticed it other than on like the Molotov cocktail, which exploded as soon as it hit the ground, which I expect. And the other ones, I haven't noticed if they land and then explode or just explode, because you get no timer, you get no AoE, marker. And I wouldn't mind, Crumb said, those grenades piss you off. You need your red circle. The red circle is nice.
I'm with you, B. Crumbs.
It's super nice, but I also kind of like the idea of just knowing where the grenade went as opposed to knowing where I needed to go to get away from it. Because one of the things that frustrates me the most about the enemies, and and we'll probably transition at some point to talk about like the new skill system, is the way that the NPCs know exactly where your seeker mine is going to go. If you say, especially the airburst one, if you send the airburst out, they know exactly where your red circle is and just move out of it. And then the airburst goes and boom, you just get a nice little fireworks show. Other than that, it's useless. The only times I've been able to use it is if I've got somebody suppressed or if they're behind cover, and then I can send it out. It's useful. But past that, that's garbage. So like, I don't know how much of that is bug, how much of that is things that they're looking at, because like the drone usage on the NPCs is ridiculous. She gets 2 dive bomb drones at one time, and then she can do it 3 times in the same amount of time that my like repair drone is up or cooled down. And like between it being up for a while and then the cooldown factor, she can do it 3 times just in me being able to use my drone once. So some of those things definitely need to be fixed.
I agree.
Or at least changed. But real quick, Kirky had said earlier the thing about maybe attributes being on for special ammo later on in endgame. And that, I mean, it's a really good point. It's possible that some of the end game gear or something like that might tweak some of those specializations, or there could be something because there's specialization trees, right? There's supposed to be skill trees within the specialization that we grind up. Maybe one of those is for ammo drops to get more ammo, and maybe that was turned on behind the scenes for one class but not for the other. We don't know because we can't get into that progression menu in Endgame or anything else. There's no way to get in that, so we have really no idea what that is. But I wanted to bring that up, that there's definitely a point to that.
Okay.
That was intentional. They want you to decide what kind of loadout to use, plus certain specializations get certain grenades from your understanding. They do, but my point is you only get 2 grenades, and with the way combat is now, especially with the way that the ads flank you and do all that, you don't have time in combat to like be in cover, toss it like on the demolitionist, they get an incendiary grenade, toss an incendiary grenade, and then you're out, and then have to go menu, scroll down shit, okay, it's down here to go into my inventory to then select this and then do it. I just don't like it at all. If that's intentional, I hope to God they fix it. Please give feedback to them about things like that. Weapon mod system, do we like it? I fucking love it. I think the negatives on the new weapon mods are way too hard in some cases. And I kind of I like it. I see what they're going for. And I think the more we get into it and the more we play through the game, the more that we'll get used to it and get away from Division 1. My biggest problem with Division 2 and the new mod system is I keep going, well, where's my extended mag? And even 1 through 7, as soon as I could craft an extended mag, that's the one that went on when I was doing endgame yesterday.
Yeah. None
of them have an extended mag except for one, I think gives you like 15 bullets, but then it gives you like some ridiculous stability, or there's some other kind of negative. I'm like, I'd rather go with less bullets. But it's cool. I like it because it forces you to do that. if you're really going to build towards crit damage or crit chance, you can do that. But here's the thing, Crumbs, on that. The negatives might be there because if you look at the new gear set, like the brand sets, some of those bonuses from that are insane. I wish I had it up, but because of the technical issues, I couldn't get it. There is a chest piece that I looted yesterday that has, I think, 4 or 5 attributes. And then because it's a second part of another set, it's got 2 bonuses because of that. It's insane what that one piece could give me. And so I think we need to wait until the game is out and we really start exploring endgame to see if the weapon mod negatives need to be adjusted or not.
I thought it was pretty cool yesterday. I got that. I think pretty much everybody got it, I would assume. Sadly, I haven't been chatting to see what people are getting and not getting, so I don't really know. But I got that blueprint for an extended mag the other day, and I put it in, I think it was like my L86, and I was like, man, what a difference. Like, it was so much... it just felt so much better to have that extra instead of just like the initial. You just get the gun and get the 30 rounds. I think I had like 60 or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. It felt really cool. I think that's the one thing, and maybe we can get into that, today or soon or tomorrow or next week or whatever. But I think the thing that I find interesting so far is, and this is off topic. I just want to throw this one out. Is just navigating the menus and like the base of ops. We all know we run in the terminal, right? And Division 1, and where the special vendor is, we're to load in for survival and underground, etc. Now, like, I'm running in the White House and I'm like, where the hell are things? I'm finally realizing, all right, here's the quartermaster. You turn in the corner, there's the crafting, lady/desk. And, just trying to learn all this stuff again. And I know it's off topic, but, it's really interesting to try to figure all this out and learn it again. Even just locations of things. I mean, that's all part of the experience. I'm having a blast so far. I mean, I think, again, my overall impression is there's definitely the bugs there, but I don't think they are detrimental. I think they have more of a headache ahead of themselves with buffing and nerfing, just to make a broad statement, whether it's weapons or, other things. I mean, I think like the drones flying and the turrets going out are cool. I think there's other things as far as like, again, I don't see, and I know Kirky's going to kill me, but the difference between jogging and sprinting to me is just not good. It's just not, dude. It's bad. I mean, I know we're way down.
Here we go.
I think those things are all there, and just deciding how they work is they're close, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's playing pretty well, but I think they have more things to adjust as far as like mechanics as opposed to bugs. I think the bugs are there, but I think they have more questions in front of them as far as like, weapon damage or how loud to make the drone fly or not fly.
Yeah.
I think those things are more. I think that's their focus more right now. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just my my overall opinion, my guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the base of operations like you were talking about, I was in there, it had to be 12 hours after I was in the game, and I'm running, I was trying to find, there was a Dark Zone vendor that I had unlocked, right? And so I was trying to find that, and I ended up in this far-off wing, and in real life, I've never been in the White House, so that's part of it. I have no idea how accurate it is, or what direction you go when you come in and all of that. And like I ended up in the Oval Office and I was like, wait, oh, this is cool. Wait, this is really that close to the front fucking door? Like, that can't be. Like, this is insane. But then I found another wing, that there was a whole wing that had the clan system that they're putting in the game, like, and it just said clan offline. But what I did notice is at one point I unlocked an upgrade to the BOO, and I gone back to the crafting table, and at first it seemed like it was just like a wooden table, and I'm gonna explore it tomorrow because I'm gonna delete my character and start all over again. And it just seemed like it was like a wooden crafting table, and then I went back in there, and it was like a nicer thing, but there was none of that cutscene where it was like boo, and then you get like the camera that like pans around that section as it upgrades, so that you can see, you know, crates being unpacked and tables being put, and maybe that's just not in the game
Here's
yet.
a cipher key.
Right. But things like that, to me, add immersion and kind of explain where things are. So that's where I was really confused, because I was like, I don't know where to go to talk to any of these. Like, I see symbols on my map, or on my mini map, but I couldn't see anything else. I don't, oh, goddamn. Oops, sorry, I just swore again. If anybody on console does not know this, you have customizable UI on console. I just found that yesterday, it just popped in my head. Which is, I've never seen a customizable UI on a console game. But anyway, yeah,
that's pretty cool.
The amount of grinding, PD, you're absolutely right. I think it's going to be staggering. Craig had brought up in chat the little civilization areas, or whatever they're called. What are they called? The
settlements.
Yeah, the settlements.
Pretty cool.
Cool as hell. I wish I could figure out how to get like an aerial photograph, or like an aerial view of the overall settlement, and what's been unlocked and what hasn't, and maybe that'll be in the full game. Like when you go to the progress menu, it tells you what you can do to upgrade certain things, but it doesn't necessarily tell you, like, it doesn't show you what there is. At least I couldn't find what still I need to unlock and what I don't, or maybe I did, but I don't know how to get back in there. Well, Kirky, not so much photo mode. They had shown a screenshot of like an aerial view of it, and then it showed the whatever it was here, and then it was like barbecue, and then like the weed section, right, where you're growing all the weed.
They have video games too, so you could barbecue, smoke a doob, and then play some games. I mean,
right.
I want to go there.
But that was the thing. At one point, I was running through it, and she's just like, "Yeah, now we have a new area for the kids to play video games." And I'm like, "Where the fuck is that? Like, I want to go there," and I couldn't find it. I was like running around, and so it didn't show me where it was. So I'm curious if they're gonna have those kind of same cutscenes that we got in the base of operations in the first game. In this one, every time we upgrade something, and they're just not there because we're at the beginning. But yeah, dude, the grinding, and that's one of the things I really want to get into later when we start talking about like the our hope and what we think for the future. Like after we get out of like all of this stuff, the overall basis, I really think that this game has the potential to be the deepest and most diverse looter shooter that we've ever had. I really do. Like on par with build diversity and stuff like that with some of the biggest MMOs ever.
Yeah.
With the amount of stats that are on things, with the amount of just the brand sets, and we haven't even seen what they're doing with gear sets yet, and the fact that every weapon seems to drop both as green and blue and then purple and gold. Like if you get an urban MDR and you really, really like it and it's a blue gun, it's not like Destiny, right? Where if you get a blue gun and you love it, you know, well, this sucks. As soon as I start on legendaries, I'm effed and I'm never going to be able to use this again, or an armor piece or something like that. So yeah, I even the gear set piece or the brand set pieces themselves, I didn't know this. The bonuses for them carry over from one gear set or gear tier to the next. So like if you've got one that's a green and one that's a blue, you get the 2-piece bonus. Which I didn't realize that off the bat. I thought the gear sets actually change, or the brand sets change from tier to tier, but they don't. They carry over, and I think that's friggin' sweet.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how the open world has like a survival feel to the looting. And I brought this up the other day. I could honestly see, like a casual stream, or just a casual session with friends, because it's not all about streaming, because not everybody streams. But from my standpoint, either streaming or gaming, and
yes,
yours
it is.
as well, obviously. Yes, it is. Fake news.
Streaming is life.
China. And that's why we're punches. Streaming his life. Oh Lord, yeah, it's true. But I can see us like running around in the outside world. There's friggin' loot everywhere, like and it's so. I did some crafting the other day, and I don't know if the numbers will change or decrease or whatever, but I could see you having to dedicate some time to running around and having to find loot and loot areas. I don't know if they're fluid, if they'll change, whatever, but I mean, I could see that being really important. Like, yeah, you're gonna get drops. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how they do it with like missions or Darkstone. Like right now, everyone seems to be wanting to PvP, which is awesome, and a lot of that is because they want like blue or purple gear. But I really think if you compare Division 1 to Division 2, Division 1, like, okay, like, you run around and you try and collect tools. It literally, like, was the most boring thing ever to run around and go, I'm going to go get this set of tools. I'm going to go get this set. Now, like, you could run down the street and they're like, there's electronics, there's a chest, there's a lock we can blow off, there's a suitcase. And you're going bing, 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 and you're just looting, and you don't even have to get all that close, which is nice. You just hit the button, it loots. I think that's really cool, and I think that'll help people explore the open world a lot more. I really like that part. If crafting is important, which, man, that could be a game changer, because anybody can go out and shoot bosses or shoot other players for gear, but if you have to actually harness the resources, and maybe crafting gear is stronger in a slight sense, I know that's a slippery slope, that could be really cool. Like, or it's just an incentive for people who don't want to do a certain, looting, methodology. They can go out and basically, hopefully, gather enough resources and craft up. And hey, they don't have an argument at that point. They say, well, I can't get any gear, I can't go in the DZ. Well, you can go around and craft up then.
Yeah,
that might be a really nice alternative.
Yeah, I mean, it's already kind of there, because if you go to the crafting bench, that's where you get your extended mag and stuff like that. And meanwhile, there's other weapon mods that you unlock through, through other things. But I do think crafting is going to be important.
Which would be fun, man. It's kind of cool, you know what I mean? No, if they can make it fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like on how when you get like the points, the combat points or whatever, that are like, it's a contested area, right? And you go in and you clear it out, and then you pop the flare gun to bring in the civilians who come in like, and and then you fight it, and then you go back there
running down the street.
Yeah, and then every time you go back there, they're just walking around with a box, and they're like, hey, how you doing? Like, if you go up and you talk to that dude, you donate to them your food, water, and tools, or whatever it is. I can't remember what they're, components, I think they're called. So you donate those to them to build them back up. But what's the point? Like, that's what I can't figure out, because it doesn't explain that system anywhere. So, like, if they run out, do they die? Does that get taken back over by the enemy again?
Like, what I gathered from, because I only did it quickly, is because, and I saw this at the Quartermaster, if you upgrade the Quartermaster, there's a perk. And I apologize, guys, I don't know this. I've had about like 4 hours total in the game. I've really just been trying to take in the atmosphere. I haven't really been paying attention to detail, and these are things I'll look at today. But my understanding is you upgrade at the Quartermaster, and then when you go to like certain settlements, if you donate them like food, water, and let's say screws and bolts, electronics, whatever, they actually will they'll assist you in that area. Okay. And they'll hold it down for you. Like, it gives you like more of a perk to find other things easier, and it builds it up, and it builds up like basically like an ally. It's a stronger form of an ally for you. That's my understanding of it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
I have to look into it some more, but
that's kind of what I assumed. Like, Kirk even said that those points will be contested in the live game, so if they don't have supplies, they'll get overrun. That's kind of what I assumed. Okay. But like, mine, legitimately, yesterday all day I was doing the endgame stuff. So like, I didn't go back and do anything really 1 to 7. And when I did log in at the end, because I wanted to hear the showstopper, all my points were still captured, and like, I hadn't given those motherfuckers anything. So either they're really, really good at looting on their own, or like, it's just not really live yet. But an interesting thing I did find is, when you're walking around and just in the wild, and like exploring is going to be
Open world
huge
now
for
you're
me in
talking
this
about?
game. Yeah, in the open world, you know,
Okay.
1 to 7 experience in the beta. I love exploring. So like for me, you know, running down
Mhm.
every alley looking for the phones, or like run around and you hear the beeping of like the crash drones in Division 1. Like that was always like a huh? Where is it, right? And then I stop and I look around and I try to figure, oh, there's the
Yes.
parachute. How do I get up there? Sweet. Like I love that kind of stuff, and that's why it took me a month and a half to get to level 30 in the Division 1, because I just ran around doing all that stuff. I didn't even really care about getting to end game. I wanted to explore and all that. And this game, because of not so much the verticality that Division 1 added, but because you can enter doors, because there's locks that you can shoot off, because there's all of these different things that you can do, it adds so much more space in the game. And even though the
Yeah.
map, to me right now, the map feels smaller than the Division 1 map did, even though supposedly it is bigger, it feels smaller. It feels so much more dense than the Division 1 did. So there's going to
I
be
agree.
so many things to do, but then as you're walking around, you'll see an enemy patrol, right? And it'll just say patrolling, or it'll say searching for water, or returning with water. And if you kill them, if you kill that whole group, it will literally drop you water. And you'll see
Yeah.
the guy like carrying a tote or something like that, and then you kill him, and then that's what you pick up. Like I absolutely love,
Yes.
I
Well,
love it, man.
that really makes the open world viable because let's compare, and they're separate games, but you know, comparison is not a bad thing. The first division open world was very few people went around and collected resources. Very, very, very few.
Unless it was part of a daily or something, you're right. Like
Correct.
there was the weekly to go get 50 electronics, and I was like, oh,
Yes.
punch myself in the
It
balls.
literally, yeah, you'd rather like, you know, hit yourself with a stapler in the groin than do that. You know, like there was no point to it, generally speaking, for the most part. Okay, so then you were really left with open world bosses. Now I begged and I pleaded with them to add more and make actual landmarks in the open world, and it didn't happen, unfortunately. So, and my point was, listen, you have people who are running missions, and you want people to explore. The game is the open world,
Mm-hmm.
right? In my opinion, the game is not the dark zone. It should be both, but the key component is the open world. That's where you drop in. That's where you know, essentially save people. You know, you're doing your mission as an agent, and I felt like there was no depth in the Division 1 minus missions. Right, you couldn't. There was no incentive to walk around and run around and find things like Splinter Shield was in the stream the other day, right? And as yourself, and when we were talking, I thought it was a really great point. He's like, no, you got to find these caches, the Shade Tech caches, and I was like really impressed. Well, I was like, you know, okay, cool. And then I started going around looking for that, and then I'm finding this resource, and I'm finding that, and I'm looting this, and then I'm finding these little pockets. It felt almost like West Side Pier, where you were running around, and boom, this little, you know, this little platoon, if you will, walks by, and you're like, oh, I better engage them, and you got something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, look, there's 7 guys walking in a row. Let's melt him down and maybe get a really bad exotic, and then you're like, now what?
Yep.
That's why we were forced to do the missions. The missions are always cool. Like, I don't have a problem with running missions, but if you contact me and you're like, hey, Johnny, let's get you and 2 other guys, and ladies, of course, you know what I mean, 2 other players, and let's run around and let's just go wing it. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll shoot some people. Maybe we'll resource harvest. I think that's an awesome thing. What do you guys think in chat as well?
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
That could
Control
be
points.
really cool, man.
No, it could, and like control points kind of feel like the LZ landmarks. My problem
Yes,
with that
kind of.
thought is
Yep.
it all depends on how fast they go through those resources and get taken back over, right? Because once they're controlled, there's nothing to do there, right? So if they are like the LZ landmarks, what I think are more like the LZ landmarks are like the random events, like the public executions, the which God bless it, I can't even describe how stupid these damn civilians are. But
I know.
I mean, I'm
That's
running
gonna
up.
those are gonna be memes
Oh,
overnight.
dude, they're about to be executed. I come in and I'm like, here I come to save the day. Boom, boom. And then like they all of a sudden get courage and have weapons. And
Yeah,
I'm
they're like,
like,
"Hey, you're a division agent." I'm like, "Yeah, I am.
right.
What are you doing? You almost got your head blown off."
No, they
dude."
do get their head blown off because then like I'm running around and I'm trying to stay in cover because like one bad shot from one of the enemies, I'm getting annihilated, and they're just up there like, I can do this. I couldn't do this 5 seconds ago, but now that you're here, I feel brave. And I pulled a weapon evidently out of my rectum, and I'm just gonna start shooting people. And then they get annihilated. And I'm like, what do I lose if they die? Like, because I kind of
locked
don't
in the
care.
closet with an M4. I know.
Right.
Remember that and all those missions? It's like free the hostage, and they come walking out with a fucking clip, and they're like, "Yo, we could do this," and they start looking around. I'm like, "Dude, what have you been doing this whole time?"
Yeah, you couldn't shoot the hinges off the door with that bad boy. Like, yeah, no. But the thing is, the difference is these ones are actually pretty decent. These ones are they can actually provide more than just a meat shield for you or a distraction. They're not bad in combat, but I think those are going to be more like the LZ landmarks. To me, it depends because I know at endgame. Once you get to endgame, all of those, like the Black Tusk comes and goes back to take over all of the points that you've controlled, and then the other factions come out and start warring with them. So I think I'm really interested
to see like a vicious cycle kind of.
Yeah, I think as you work through 1 through 30, your challenge is going to be to like get them supplies so that they can stay green and stay on your side, but they will stay on your side for a longer period of time. I think at 30 that all gets wiped away and you have to go back and do it again, and that becomes part of that gameplay loop then, and I think that's when it becomes more and more important.
I'd like to see something cool, like still keep those roaming events and those patrol, like those control points. Those random events and the control points are a lot of fun. I think spawn them, figure out the spawn rate, but just spawn them regularly, randomly. But I think I'm still a big advocate for light zone landmarks. And I think one of the things you can do, excuse me, especially like once it becomes end game, is maybe even tier them and be like, all right, I cleared the coffee shop landmark, right? And then, okay, in theory, let's just pretend you're an agent, you clear it out, you radio back in, like, hey man, it's cool, we're good. It goes down. All of a sudden, like, it should then tick up a little bit and and constantly just keep going up a little bit. Obviously to a certain point, and then make it so where like you have to grind it and push them to reinforce it so much with enough complicated or because you can't do crazy things, but maybe enough strong enemies. Maybe you have to do a landmark 3 times, and then finally it's these massive, big, tanky, NPCs, and they give you a really cool reward. So in essence, you're doing each landmark multiple times, but they increasingly get a little bit harder for a better reward. Because I hate to say it, rewards, people like grinding, and we saw it in Destiny. The more you grind, you want to get something tangible to make it feel like the grind is worth it. Yeah, playing the game is great, but getting something tangible like a really cool weapon or a really cool blueprint, encourage people to do something that's redundant, make redundancy fun.
Yeah,
I think, and that's a hard thing to do at times.
No, it really is. I mean, that's their main challenge. Rob, I completely agree. I think the ecosystem of what we see, the baseline, like the basics that we see, I think it's just scratching the surface. I've said it with the build diversity. I think is going to be insane. But like in this specifically, like you just brought up, like the rewards and then like the LZ landmarks. My problem with that is, what is our benefit to keep to giving them supplies, right? Okay, it stays green, but if it goes not green, I get a reward for going and clearing that out. Whereas if it stays green, are they gonna send me an item? Like if it's supposed to be like every 4 hours.
Maybe they'll hook me up with some killer weed and like a barbecue sandwich.
Right, but like if I go there, are they gonna give me something? I did find there was a loot drop that I got from someplace, and it was a child's jacket. Really, really
Okay.
weird.
Yeah, I got a child's shoe the other day. And
yeah, I wonder what those are. I don't think it's just junk loot, but I wonder if it's for another settlement, right? Like when you get to another settlement, it's like, hey, we've got a lot of kids, we need some coats, right? Because it took me a minute. I think it was Rob that figured it out for me, actually, that like I needed to donate gloves. And I was like, oh, that must be what it is. It must be a random drop like this child's jacket. And he was like, no, dude, junk out a pair of gloves and then like donate it. And I was like, wait, oh, so I need to set a pair of gloves that I looted as junk and then I can donate it. Cool. But then I was like, what do I do with this child's jacket? So I'm hoping that like as we start finding more and more of like the towns and settlements and stuff like that, I'm really hoping that that is as diverse as I have it in my head, because essentially we're doing the same thing that we did in D1 with like running up and opening this toolbox and getting this thing. Essentially we're doing that same thing, but there's like, you know, so that way we had the tools to be able to unlock something at the BOO. But now, you know, we're doing that same thing, but it's to help the settlement. And then by helping the settlement, we get people to come help us. And just that little switch in narrative, to me, makes me buy in all the more, because I'm far more about story than I am about like randomly just picking up stupid shit.
Well, one of the things that they could do that's cool too, and who knows, and I truly don't, if they'll do it or if they won't, but an idea that I thought of was, you have, let's say hypothetically 4 different settlements, right? If you progress and you finally build them up enough where they could sustain and push people away, where like the black tusks or the hyenas aren't consistently trying to overtake their settlement, you know, wouldn't it be kind of cool if they eventually took, let's say, settlement A, B, C, and D, and then they all joined up and like you had this massive showdown between these settlements and the division agents, and it was literally for one very valuable section of the city, like I don't know, like a hospital that they're trying to overtake back, and you literally have like these controlled timed events, maybe once, you know, a season, like to quote Destiny, or once a quarter, or you know, where you're like, hey man, if you build up your settlements, you can call in, and you guys, you'll have, if you built up 4, you could bring 3, 4 of them with you, and you're gonna fight this. You're gonna have this massive Royal Rumble at this one point between other, you know, NPCs and all your settlements, and you call them in as your allies, and it's just this massive battle to overtake a really valuable point.
God, I hope not.
No, really?
Yeah, I really don't, because then it's just gonna feel like every single mid-season finale on The Walking Dead, where like that's where I've spent all of this time building these up, and then that's gonna happen, and I'm just gonna watch half these people get slaughtered.
I mean, I'm okay with that, because like,
because you're an evil son of a bitch. That's
why.
Because
they're just smoking weed and having a good time.
Well, that's what we all want to do, isn't it? Yeah, no, I mean, I think that would be kind of cool. I honestly...
On my car?
Yeah.
Kirky, you said that you think there'll be a more morale system, and then Gallant said,
Awesome.
you know, that like the donate junk thing. I wonder, I don't know how many people here have played Ghost Recon Wildlands, but there was a system in Wildlands where when they added in rewards, right? There was weekly rewards or seasonal rewards or something like that, and there were like community things where like if you get X number of headshots or 20,000 headshots or you know whatever, then like you ticked off this box, and if the community at large killed enough enemies, did enough of this or whatever, then everybody got a weapon skin, right? Everybody that took part and killed one enemy or did anything at all to help check that box got a reward, right? Of some kind.
Just hit my car.
No worries.
Sorry.
No worries.
Awesome.
So I'm really curious if like what Gallant said with like donating junk at the settlements or like the kids' shoes and like things like that, it will be tied in kind of with what Kirky's talking about with the morale system, where instead of it being like what Johnny was saying, your towel just fell.
For the safe room's falling.
I was just gonna say, I think somebody took a shot at the safe room. But like, I really, really, really wonder if all of those things are gonna be tied into a Wildlands like community-based rewards system where once a season, where you've got daily challenges to do, donate 20 components or 50 components or whatever, and then you've got a weekly thing of like, take over 5 things, and then you've got a community weekly or monthly or seasonal thing, which is as a community kill 200,000 hyenas, or 2 million hyenas or something, or land 10 million headshots.
You're gonna make me go for the Reaper badge again, aren't you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Wildlands did that, and it was a way, and some of them were like,
that's cool, man.
There were some things in Wildlands that I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna go do one of those, and hopefully everybody else can, do some of these, because there was just some activities I didn't like. So I think that would be super, super cool, and I wonder if it's there, because I did notice too, Johnny, you had brought up the thing about different activities and whatnot. I don't know how many people know how to do this, because I just learned how to do it last night. I had gotten a bounty one day. I have no idea how I did it. I was just running along, and all of a sudden it was like, hey, there's a bounty in the area or something, and I went to go do it, and I killed the people outside the building, started going in the building, and there was just somebody that came charging up to me and annihilated me, and I died. And then there was nothing else there, right? The bounty goes away. I don't have anything to do. I ran back to that area. There was no NPCs there. And I'm like, oh, dude, that sucks. I didn't know that this was a do it once and be done, right? And then I just found out yesterday, might have been Rob in chat. Somebody in chat told me that if you go into your menu and you tab over to the bounty section, and then you take your reticle to the circle, you hit that, then I think you hit X or something like that, and you can redo that bounty. And in that menu, it actually says something about target intel. So I think there's a system again where you're getting target intel, then you go in there, you can do that bounty, and then you kill them to do different things. So there's still going to be the repeatable. That might be more of like the landmarks that we can do every so often. I know that's more like the HVT's system.
I love HVTs personally. I think those are fun.
I like HVTs a lot. I used to really like the search and destroy missions to get the target intel, and now they're just a chore, and I hate them.
I just felt like those were too okay. Like, yeah, you had to do those to do the HVTs, but there really wasn't a. I mean, I guess that was the point. It just didn't feel like they just felt like too boring. Like when I think search and destroy, like they just felt like too plain Jane of a mission. It was like, hey, go kill these 2 guys, go to this point, go kill these 4 guys, and then go kill these 2 guys. And then it was like, that was it?
Yeah.
I wish they were just like, they had a little bit more substance to them. And then even the HVTs, you had this huge map, and they were always in like the same, a few locations, like, utilize the game. I mean, you had buildings, you had rooftops. I mean, they had some rooftop fights, of course. Not saying they didn't. But, again, there's a limit to everything, and that's always good that we're anxious and we're coming up with these ideas. But it's the search and destroys for me were kind of cool. But if they could do more stuff like that, like more little side pockets, I call them, of different things, then that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Because again, nobody wants to run. And we'll probably have to do it, but nobody wants to run, say, like Amherst 1,000 times just because.
Right.
If there's a point, like, okay, like farming Clear Sky, there was a point to it. It sucked, but we did it. You don't want to be like pigeonholed into just doing one thing. And that's one thing you've talked about, and I am personally, like, I don't want to get locked into just PvP this time around. I want to try and jump into the pool of PvP and just. Man, I tell you, maybe that's something we could get into at some point, but the PvP experience, and really break that down, because, oh man, it's night and day different.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, PvP is definitely something I want to touch on in a few. The thing that you had just said that I forgot to bring this up earlier when we were talking about the invaded mission.
Sure.
And I'm curious, anybody that's done the invaded missions, I'm really, really curious if you've noticed this. I went through on the sniper the first time, right? And enemies seem to come out like I died a lot. Enemies seem to come out in the same places and whatever. It's just like Division 1, right? You kind of get an idea of who is spawning where and where they're coming from and which enemies you need to kill first, and you know where they're going to rope in from, blah blah blah. I ran through it on Survivalist, and all of a sudden, or no, I think Survivalist, most of the enemies were the same. I went through it on Demolitionist, and all of a sudden, instead of just being people and stuff, now I had fucking, I had Johnny 5 robots that were trying to kill me. I had those stupid Boston robotic dogs that were coming out trying to, absolutely annihilate me. I had big, heavy, armored guys with miniguns trying to murder me. And it was different enemies, and they spawned from different places, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I don't know if that's set up specifically for which specialization I was, or if that's going to be more randomized as I go. But one interesting thing I did find is, even on the Demolitionist, there's a room where you go in, there's a minigun set up in the middle, and then people spawn in originally from the right hand side, you kill them, and then sometimes more will spawn in from the left, but sometimes they spawn in from the left or from the right. And that's what I found in that room in particular. It seemed to happen more often than any place else. Sometimes that second wave comes from the right, and they're the same sort of enemies. Other times they come from the right, and I get the little Johnny 5s, the murderous Johnny 5s. Other times they spawn from the left, and it's dog robots. Sometimes they spawn from the left, and it's a big dude with a minigun. But I only really saw that diversity with the Demolitionist class. I didn't see that as much with the other classes, and I'm just curious if they set that up specifically for the specializations to give each specialization a feel of what they're supposed to do or what their strength will be in combat. Because I gotta tell you, man, those dogs and those dudes in armor, not a problem if you got that boom boom tube. If you're on that stupid arrow thing and you've got no arrow, dude, you are smoked.
You're humped.
You are totally humped if you're trying to whittle that thing down with an MP5 or something.
By the way, that's one of my more favorite Janko terms.
That you're humped.
Copyright exclusive there, humped.
If I ever get partnered, I'll have to have a camelback emote and just have it be called humped.
That's one of the things I'm excited about to try later is the specialized categories. I haven't done that yet. I've gotten a pretty good feel on some of the guns. I'm really excited to try some of that later. So if anyone's on PC and they want to play later, please don't be afraid. Just message me. If you can't reach me for some reason, message Janko and he'll get in touch with me. I'm really excited to try that stuff. And man, I know, again, I don't know if we're beating too far off the path here, but the raids, I'm not, the raids will make me want to buy it for PlayStation and pay someone to play for me so I could raid with you guys. At least, that's my initial thought, because that stuff sounds so cool, man. I always enjoyed raiding in Destiny. Not always, Kappa, but yeah, but yeah, hilarious. I think it'll be a lot of fun to get people in and get people communicating and get them, squatted up. And one of the things I want to do, and I'm hoping the Division Debrief brings this for you guys to play with myself, to play with Janko, to play amongst each other, get out of your comfort circle and invite people in and be like, man, B-Crumbs is really, really cool, but we don't get to play together a whole lot. Let's raid on the weekend. Let's run around and squat up. And I think that's, subliminally, I'm getting winded. I'm sorry. That's one of the things I think we want out of the Division Debrief too, is to really bring people together, get out of your comfort circle a little bit and start to meet other players and people, because you'd be surprised how much, that could really help your experience too, surprisingly.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I want to take a quick moment just to say thank you to everybody that's here hanging out, taking part in the discussion, chilling, all of that. I know we try to keep up on chat. We can't always. So if we missed a comment, make sure that you at one of us, or, you could either at the Division Debrief or at JohnnyBoom. Technically, you could at me individually, but I won't see it because it's on my phone and I'm not looking at my phone. But, I still will see it, but I won't get the little red bar. But yeah, dude, those dogs, and real quick, I do want to get into the PvP thing and that discussion, but like we kind of touched on it earlier with enemy types and variants. I think this beta and Massive and Red Storm and everybody that did it have done a phenomenal job of making bullet spongy enemies that feel like they should be bullet spongy, right? With the big armor guys, the big dogs and all of that. But then they also feel like there's a tactical way to be able to take them down, right? Like if you're fighting a tank, you shouldn't be able to kill it with a headshot, right? But like,
Correct.
you know, if you've got, you know, an explosive arrow, which you don't, but okay, let me rephrase. If you've got the boom boom tube, then maybe that tank is a little bit easier to take down. You know, the way that some groups will flank you, but others don't. The way that some will just like take their inhaler and then just charge you while waving a crazy glowy stick at you while screaming their ever-loving head off.
I love how they toke up. They're like, man, that's the shit. And then they start running at you.
What cracks me up is the shotgunners of one of the factions. I don't know the names of the factions, so I don't think they're the hyenas. I think they're the true sons or whatever. It's the shotgunners that like will chase you literally around the map, and they're like, I'm gonna kill you, fucker! And then like they just keep repeating it. If you run away from them, they just keep, I'm gonna kill you, and like
that's gonna be a troll video where we definitely should like have them just chase us around and cue like the Benny Hill music. And I just have
So like they
dude, that's fucking
I do think that they need to keep some of the voiceovers, some of the lines that they do a little bit less because it does, or more varied. But like, dude, I love it. I love the enemy diversity, the way they feel all just, you know,
they're unique.
They
and I haven't really gotten
are.
as far as you do. But the one thing I found was interesting, and it's really kind of a mild kind of like, I used to do this all the time, like in Division 1, where you would shoot, let's say, like a fire extinguisher, and it would smoke. And the NPCs would be like, oh, they'd go all disoriented. Well, they're not doing that now because they have masks on. So that's, like, tactically, they're like a little bit, like, oh, yeah, you're going to shoot a fire extinguisher? Yeah, that's cute. I got a mask on. Now what you got for me? And I think it's like, it's becoming a little bit more of a thinking man, a tactical game, which is great because that's what Tom Clancy really is all about. But there's still, you can go out and face tank, but you have to like really, really limit your time. And to quote Janko, you are humped if you're out face tanking amongst 3 or 4 guys and you have no armor. Stay in cover. Yeah, stay in cover. You can move around a little bit, but you're not going to run around and proc striker healing and predatory and just be like, yeah, I'm cool, and then hit a heal and then hit a med kit. Yeah, I mean, God, in PvP alone, like, you're humped against like 2 guys if you don't have cover, or you retreat to get some armor. Yeah, regen. Real quick, I want to just touch on this. Craig said, I've seen all over Twitter. It's just saying it's just another DLC and the end game will be boring. I don't agree with that. No. They have done a great job with the story in Division 1, truthfully, and I think they'll do a great job with this story. And it feels, the story and the approach feels different, Craig. So I don't think that's true. I disagree with that statement. I think we'll be fine, man.
Truthfully. Yeah, real quick on that one. That's somebody hating to hate, or it's somebody, because I know somebody in my guild knows somebody that was like, oh, they said that it's just like the first game before the fixes.
Grumpy?
No, I don't even think it's that they're being, I mean, it could be that they're just being grumpy. That's true. That's true. There are some grumpy individuals that are going to hate for no reason. Without looking deeper. But here's the thing. The game feels so familiar to the first game that, like, if you just go in on a very surface level and you don't really take the time to look at the loot and really take part in what the different systems are, it's going to feel like what you just said. But if you really take the time and you focus on what this is, or what this new component is, or you know, the brand sets plus gear sets, and like all of these different bonuses, and well, this seems stupid because these weapon mods, these negatives are huge, but then you look and you get a high-end piece that's got 4 attributes, plus it's part of a brand set, plus you've got 2 other brand sets that you're using. Now all of a sudden you've got 14 bonuses from this one piece.
Sure.
Now that minus 10 or minus 20% damage to elites doesn't seem so bad because you've built up, 50% damage to elites over here. So, like, without really taking the time to dig into all of that, I think somebody's just going to log in. They're going to be like, oh, this sucks. They're going to play it for an hour or 2 and let it go.
Yeah.
But this is another
if you
thing.
Look at it on the surface, like you said, like if you don't dive into any of that, once you break it all down, it's a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference between this shooter and Destiny and any other real shooter, Division 1. It's a shooter. But to your point, and I agree with you, if you take the time to get into the story and really look at, okay, why are they having me do this? Or what is this really about? Or what is this faction about? The game tells its own story, and it's very unique. And that's, Janko and I have had this talk all the time. That's not the fanboy in me. That's just an honest opinion, because I got no reason. I've been probably more critical than anyone has been at times, and probably even to a fault. But that's just how I feel, and I'm not going to follow the formula of just being polite just to try to get something. Like, I'm going to address it, pros and cons, and that's why we even started the debrief, because we want to be really brutally honest about it. And I agree with you. I think that's an excellent way of describing it. Like, the lore really changes it from any basic shooter to the Division. That's what makes it different, is the lore. 100% agreed, man.
Well, and this is something that when you said this, I was kind of shocked because I didn't notice it. But then it leads into exactly what we're talking about. You said that, like, you can't shoot the fire extinguisher because they're wearing a mask and it doesn't work. But with the black tusks in the invaded area, there's fire extinguishers. You can shoot them and they will get affected. So that's just, I think that's just the hyenas or whatever that have those masks that aren't going to be affected by that. They also,
interesting. Okay.
They do the same thing to you. I was standing next to an electrical board behind me yesterday, and I'm in cover, and all of a sudden I'm like, and then I'm dead, and I'm like, what the?
Can we clip that, please?
What was that? And then I looked behind me, and sure enough, I don't know if they did it on purpose or if I was on accident, but they shot that. Did you just lose another towel?
My safe house is falling. I think Rick knows where we are, and we might have to go mobile.
I think a demolitionist just hit you with some of that ammo he may or may not have picked up.
Oh, sorry, guys.
But yeah, so like, I don't know if it was on purpose that they actually shot that, or if it was on accident and they just happened to miss me and hit it. But another aspect of where people don't understand the depth and complexity that they've done with Division 2 that's different, the medics, and this goes back to something Johnny brought up a long time ago about, like, it's going to be way more tactic. The medics in that mission will res the enemies that you've killed.
Oof, better get those medics out, man.
Dude, no shit, because then the drone chicks are so terrible that, like, you have to aim for them first. But there was one point that I took them out and, like, killed the drone chicks, and no more drones are coming in. I'm working down everybody. All of a sudden, drones come in, and I'm like, what the hell? And there's one up, and I'm like, I know I didn't get far enough that the next spawn comes up. And then that's when I noticed, dude, the medics will run over to a downed enemy, and that's why the bodies stay there, so that you can still kill the weak points on you. And they'll, like, the medics will go over and they'll stand over them, and you'll see the little heart with the little plus sign with the little symbol in there, and, like, they'll do that, and it's going around, and then all of a sudden, boom, gets back up, and they're back into it, and they can summon a drone that will res enemies. So, like,
I can't wait to get to that part, man.
Yes,
and try that out.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
It really, really sucks when you finally take out that drone thing and you think it's done, and then all of a sudden, you got a medic that you didn't even know was spawned. And this is why not having pulse in this beta sucks, because you can't. And that's another reason why the sharpshooter is the best class, the best specialization in this, because they've got that drone pulse. That skill is phenomenal. I know we want to jump into PvP, but, like, skills, I really do think we need to talk about skills a little bit, because it definitely warrants talking to, and they are no longer drop and forget or click and forget skills. You've got, you know, the drone pulse that you can you hit the button to take it off of your back, and then you pick an area and you hit R1. I use it on R1. So then I hit the bumper again, and then the drone goes out there. It pulses everything, and it hovers in that area, and it continually pulses anything that comes into that area or runs out of it. But the cool thing is if they don't kill that and you bam, 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 you take everybody out, you hit, you know, you go into another area, and as long as that cooldown hasn't gone down yet, you hit R1, that drone comes flying into the new area and does it again.
You sounded like Imp right there.
You can totally move that thing around, and it's super cool. The seeker drone, the regular seeker drone, you can set it by your feet, set it and forget it, and it'll just hang out next to you like a hungry puppy dog. But then, like, if you see an enemy, let's say there's a red bar that's behind cover, I can hit L1, send that over to that guy, but as it's on its way there, if I see a purple that starts running up, I can focus on that one, hit L1, and the seeker mine will stop going to that one and then go after the new enemy. So, like, that's super cool.
Yeah, the thing with the turret that I like is how you could I'm using the one where you could, like, have it, like, shoot things specifically. Like, again, I'm on M and K, so I'll hit, like, the E button, and it will, like aggro and line up one guy, and, like, maybe he's to my right, and the turret's like boom, 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 and it's shooting the guy, suppressing him, killing him, hopefully, and then I'm shooting to, you know, other areas. So it's literally like having, you know, you next to me or another player, and you could literally, like, assign it to shoot different things, which allows you to flank, allows you to be tactical. Again, I'm like, I really see like they tried really hard to really get us to be more tactical. Yeah, it covers tactical, but in how you go in. Like, I was telling Petey, because, you know, I was asking Petey, like, he went through some training for that side of stuff. I'm like, do you feel like it really is tactical, like the way they're moving? Like, are they clearing the room a certain way, or you know, do you find yourself as a player? You know, I'm sure we have a lot of military personnel who play the game. Like, I could see them really utilizing their training in the actual game, and I think that'll really be beneficial. And I think, again, to your point, that's what makes the division. So I'm really I'm digging it so far, man. I haven't gotten into anything too complex, but, you know, I mean, I'm liking it. I've only used the turret so far, and my only complaint with the turret is it's no longer like this real fast throw it over the shoulder like it weighs, you know, a pound. It feels like they're hunkering out some big, heavy, decently, you know, weighted turret, because the motion is slower. It's at first I didn't dig it, but I'm kind of like, well, it makes sense. I mean, it is a turret, it's mobile, but the animation at first I didn't dig, but then once I got to actually use it, it felt nice. So.
Yeah,
you're enjoying it. Hey, what's up, Tom?
Petey, is that is what you're talking about right now when you break armor? Is that the one that shows up underneath your thing as like a little armor break? Because I keep seeing that, but I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. Which turret were you using? Just the regular, the base turret?
Who, me?
Yeah,
repeating. I was using. I think I upgraded it, to be honest with you. But I think for the majority, it was the base turret. Yeah, I think I upgraded it towards the end, and then I don't think I really utilized it, you know, maybe the way you should. I'm curious to try that today.
Yeah, I really want to dig into more of these talents and try to see some of that stuff. The healing seeker I hated. It didn't seem like it did that much other than follow me around and every now and then spawn a green circle at my feet that didn't seem to heal me very much. Whereas the healing drone or the repair drone
seemed to be not only look cool but work good.
Yeah, it seemed to work really cool. But like the selectable ones, it sucks because like the turret that the demolitionist gets. The mortar turret is super cool and pretty useful unless you're against heavy enemies, because, you know, they run right up and, you know, annihilate the thing immediately. And I don't know if it's an like a delay in you know how like you get the skill delay from Division 1 where, you hit the button and nothing happens. I don't know if that's the case with that drone or if there's actually like, okay, I'm sending out my command, boom, and then it needs to reassess where it's going to send it, and then it does it, because sometimes it seems to shoot relatively quickly, sometimes it doesn't. But like, that's kind of cool. I literally can't get the hang of the sniper turret at all. So like I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I have that one, but I haven't tried it yet either.
I tried it once, and it was like I threw it up. By the time I threw it up, and then I was like, okay, where's the enemy at? And then I was like, okay, I need to hit L1. Oh, I'm dead. And then I was like, yeah, no, that seems like it's a whole lot of work. And this is why I went with this one first. Is like I've also heard that the selectable ones, where like the sniper turret, the drone that or I'm sorry, the seeker mine, the airburst seeker mine, and then like somebody had said something about the grenades. The enemies don't seem to know where they're. Rob said it, that the grenades don't alert people anymore. They always know exactly where my airburst seeker mine is going, and it's kind of funny because if you send the regular drone out after them, or the regular seeker mine, dude, that thing is tenacious as hell. The enemies, I watched a dude yesterday in the invaded mission run from one half of that parking garage to the other with like, it's a seeker mine, and like just running, and my mind is just going right after him, and I'm like, yeah, it is, buddy, as I shoot him, and then he dies like as he explodes. It was absolutely hilarious. But I've heard that they're completely useless in PvP.
Which ones?
Anything that you have to hit like a second. The click and forget are good. Those work, but then the rest of them are garbage.
No, yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
I can't. I haven't personally, but I can't see it. I've tried to use the point and click ones, the point to point ones, and maybe for players who are hiding too much in cover. I mean, PvP, you got to balance. Now it feels like you have to balance cover. You got to be out in the open a little bit, but you almost want a PvP near some cover, so when you're out and about, you can be like, oh, I gotta duck behind here and maybe put shots on, or I gotta try and get armor while your teammate is putting shots downrange, and sort of that sort of thing. But I can't see it. I mean, maybe you could, anything's possible, but as a point of how effective, I would say probably like something that's more mobile is always going to be better. And that standpoint, let's see, maybe people get creative and they really they find a team or like, all right, I'm going to constantly send the drone this way to force these guys a certain way, and then we could flank them, and then we'll throw grenades and we'll do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe.
I think on console, once I get a scuff, I might be able to do it better. But like when I'm playing on console, this is how I hold my controller, right? So I generally just use these fingers on whichever button I need. But it's impossible for me to use like L1 and L2 at the same time. It just feels really, really foreign to me. And so there's times, like, because of where I kept the turret on the left side, I would have to pull L1 to do that, but then I'm also trying to shoot an enemy, so I've got L2 pulled down, and then I'm trying to hit the bumper. It just, it feels awkward at times to be shooting on the right trigger, but then also having to hit the right bumper. So I don't know if on PC, if that's going to be easier for PvP, or with a scuff, if it would be easier.
Honestly, it sounds like it might be easier on console, surprisingly, because I'm not the most fluent on keyboard, but, just because you have to point and click, it depends on keybinds. I don't know. I think it's probably 50-50. It depends.
Yeah. Craig, really quick, I'll hit on that. The stash space, what it is if you buy the versions that give you the stash space increase, what that does is it unlocks a perk that is the third inventory perk that you can unlock. If you go into the base of operations, you start with 50 stash space. Everybody starts with 50. Then you go in and you can buy for Shade Tech, you can buy a perk that gives you an extra 50, taking you up to 100. And then there's a third perk that you can buy that takes you up to 150. If you buy that extra Go More Biggie size version of the game, essentially you unlock that third perk at launch. So you start with 100 as opposed to 50, but by the time you get to endgame, so then when you unlock that second perk, now you've got 150. So you get it a little bit earlier than everybody else, but at endgame, everybody has 150 stash size. Like, that is what it is. Everybody has the same. So you unlock it a little bit earlier, but that's it.
That's about. I don't think that's huge. I know, anytime they make these type of announcements or calls, if you will, sometimes I know it always rolls people a little funny, and I heard some things on Twitter like, oh, this is pay to play, and that's not true. I mean, they gave you essentially that space a little bit sooner, but in the end we're all going to have the same anyways, so you might have to make a few choices here or there, but I don't think that's groundbreaking, and I don't think it's something to get your feathers in a tussle.
Yeah,
over.
I mean, I don't think 150 is going to be enough at endgame at all.
I think that's light. They'll probably expand that at some point as we get more gear and more options, build diversity, etc. Hopefully, build diversity. I'm with you. I thought 150 sounded a little on the light side of myself.
Yeah,
but
yeah, with the amount of stuff that we're getting and the amount of gears or like brand sets plus possibly gear sets plus weapons plus like all of this other stuff, I don't think 150 is going to be enough. But like Kirky said, it shouldn't be. There's no reason to hoard as you're grinding up. And like this is even something that like right now everybody's grinding the dark zone because that's where you get purples and blues and blah blah blah. But as you're grinding 1 to 30, that shit really doesn't matter. If you get a blue, awesome, this is sweet. It's gonna last you a little bit longer, but you get gear so fast and you level at a decent amount.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, you level at a decent enough clip that, like, if you're level 7 and you get a purple gun, sweet, maybe it'll be good through level 10. It'll beat, like, the level 8, 9, and 10 greens and blues that you get. But by 10 or 11, you're going to get a green gun that's better than that. So there's no point in grinding that shit then, and there's no point to keep any of it. And that's one of the things, before we transition to PvP, that, like, they did amazingly well with this beta, in my opinion, is the weapon. They fixed the weapons, and at least 1 through 7, they all seem relatively viable. The end game, I have a lot of issues with some of the guns, but I think it's just because they don't fit my play style, and because you get an assigned few guns. Like the Demolitionist, the shotgun he has is friggin' amazing, so that's awesome. But the regular guns he has, as far as the gold guns, are bad. Like, I just don't like him at all. But then both of the high ends that the sharpshooter has are friggin' spectacularly amazing. But 1 through 7, it didn't seem to matter what gun I picked up. I could legitimately use the gun I felt like and that I liked the sound of or whatever, just as much as I could use, there was no gun, there was no assault rifle that seemed to be far and away better than all of the other assault rifles, other than the CTAR 21. That gun is friggin' awesome. But yeah, I'm curious what your experience with that has been so far, Johnny. And chat, what do you think about weapons?
Oh, okay. Weapons, to me, if you were gonna do like categorize things like weapons, running, -1. Weapons for me are they did a great job. Not only do they look authentic, they sound fantastic, and even when they reload, like, you might have some, you use like an AR, you put a clip in and you see the guy rack it. It's no longer like a lightweight 4. You just puts the clip in and you're shooting again. I was using an L86, I think, and they put the mag in, and then you could see him like pull like that, the slide back, if you will. And I was like, man, and it just, you could hear the different like mechanical clinking sounds, and it just, they sound like really, really good. As far as like how they all shoot, yeah, I mean, you could probably debate that 10 different ways to Sunday. I think some of the ARs spray a little bit more than they should. I'm sure they're looking into that. It was funny, like, just on one little side note, I was playing with the guys last night, and we were talking about the SVD. And that thing is literally like a kaboom, aim to the ceiling, back to the ground. Kaboom, aim to the ceiling, back to the ground. It's like, it's not like the absolute laser rifle anymore. It's like, it's a damn mule, but it hits really hard.
The SVD?
Yeah.
Dude, I had an SVD, and I thought it felt very close to a semi-auto for me. Like, I mean, it was like tink, 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 tink. It sounded cool, but like the recoil didn't feel that bad at all.
I don't know if it was because I was in scope and I was surprised because I was saying that, like, even being as a PC player, like, generally the recoil is more friendly to us, right?
Yeah.
And I was like surprised, but I was kind of like, well, that's kind of cool because it is a sniper rifle. It's going to have a good amount of chunky recoil. It's going to hit hard, but even like a few of the guys were like, yeah, man, like that thing was ridiculous. Whereas you have other things like the oh god, the one you mentioned before, Janko, the
CTAR 21.
Yeah, I think I was using that yesterday, and that thing is just awesome. I was surprised to see little things like the UMP. That was like a submachine gun that was generally, instantly deleted for the most part in Division 1. Now that's like a pretty nice, stable, semi-automatic rifle. The AUG went from a submachine gun to an AR, which it actually is
two
an
different
AR.
versions of it, actually. There's a
submachine. Oh, really?
There's a submachine gun version and a assault rifle version of it.
I didn't even know that. There you go.
Foxhound found that the other day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Overall the weapons, I love them, dude.
Yeah.
The LMGs feel really, really good. They sound good. I was talking about that in stream the other day. I don't generally like tweet out to say like Thailander or a lot of those guys, and I literally was like, I should tweet out to him and be like, yo, man, nice job. Just because I thought I really enjoy the weapon so far.
I love the fact that almost every rifle I've found, when you shoot the last bullet in the magazine, there's like this metallic tink of that happening, which that is amazing. The one problem I do have with LMGs is the magazine size doesn't seem to fit with the reload speed. Like I got yesterday in trying the endgame stuff. I had an M429, which I really liked 1 through 7. I had one that I absolutely loved. I think I was telling you, it was either you or Foxhound, I was telling it was awesome. And then you guys were like, oh, this is junk. But I really, really liked it. At the end game, though, it's only I think it's a 60 round mag, but it takes like 11 seconds to reload the damn thing. So it's like, yeah, if I have an AK-47 with a 60 round mag, I can shoot 2.5 to 3 magazines downfield by the time I shoot one magazine on a gun that floats that isn't all that accurate and takes forever. So like there's still some of those things, but like, dude, the CTAR is like, man, it's only a 30 round magazine, but it feels like a submachine gun classified as an assault rifle. So like,
dude, that's fucking crazy.
I absolutely love that. I hate the fact, and maybe I haven't looted enough, but I can't stand the fact that like the M4, the LVAOC, or the lightweight M4, the LVAOC, and there's another one that I found. Actually, there's two others. I haven't gotten a G36 yet, so it's not that one. Anyway,
M16.
No, the M16 that I did have was a 3 round burst that I hate, but it was purple in the end game thing, so like maybe that feels better when it's a proper level for it. No, it was I can't remember. There was another assault rifle from D1 that are all semi-autos now, and I don't like them at all. Some of them feel terrible. The SIG 716 feels amazing on the high end. That one feels great, but like I've got I've had the LVAOC, I've had the lightweight M4 variant, the ACR, that's the one.
ACR.
Yeah, okay. The ACR, all of them just feel like I'm shooting marshmallows. Like just none of them feel like they have a kick or feel like they have a punch, and they all have way too much kick, in my opinion, for what they are. You just can't spam it enough. I don't know.
Dude, you know what I was using yesterday, and surprisingly, I mean, this gun was not only fun. PD's going to laugh because he already knows where I'm going with this. I was using the converted SMG9, the little that little pocket purse gun. Yeah. And PD was like, one of the guys in chat was like, wow, that thing shoots like a laser. And I'm not kidding. Again, PC, but I would imagine it's probably very similar to console. It had absolutely no recoil. It was a laser beam. And it actually has more damage than one of the AUGs. I think the AUG assault rifle, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe the sub. I compared them and I was like, whoa, one damage was like 235, one was like 230. And I was just like, brrr, and the thing was like a little like the drill bit gun. Your wife's gun? Yeah, I know. The pocket purse gun.
Yeah.
Man, that thing was a lot of fun. Shotguns are absolutely strong, almost to a fault. But I guess we'll see. They should be strong.
But
and
they're awesome in PvP, or they're awesome in PvE.
They're awesome in PvE. I'm not a fan of them in PvE or PvP because they're generally overpowered in PvP. Especially like if you look at say like Destiny, like I'm not a big advocate of like one pump. Like, I don't like that. That's broken.
Safe house.
It should be like you should be at least two, but Johnny had a purse instead of a backpack. It's not a purse. It's a satchel. Indiana Jones wore a satchel.
There's still a towel hanging out in Kirky. I do think that the safe house took another shot.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. What? The safe house took another bullet, man. That one fell down fully.
That's other one is still talking there. About running bad.
The other one is still there, though, man.
I technically I got one, and I got one to my right, but you guys can't see that.
Yeah, it's hanging in there, man. I hope Johnny's going to be safe through the rest of this. He may not be safe anymore. If we lose his feed, we know what happened.
That's what we should just totally do that one day. We'll not say anything for like a month or so, and then we'll do a feed, and all of a sudden we'll just come to feed and have like that emergency broadcasting thing with all the colors, and have it all be like, beep. Like, well, I think Johnny's gone.
Yeah, I can actually set that up right now. If I was using regular OBS, I would set that up right now just to make you laugh. But I can't. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. The safe house is on. Agent is requesting backup. Indeed.
Oh my God! Get the flare gun.
Right. Oh man. Well, this is what happens when you broadcast. On location in a hot zone. JohnnyBoom deserves all of the credit. He is a brave man to be able to bring us his insight from
behind enemy lines.
Yeah, from behind enemy lines in an undisclosed location in Washington, D.C. I really, guys. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Is there really Andrew Negative Ramos? I had no idea. I haven't seen that.
I love there's an enemy named Andrew Negative Ramos. No, we gotta find that.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen him yet either, Kirky. That is amazing, though. I just need somebody peeking in the window now. Dude, if that happens, don't tell him. Like, don't tell him. If we see somebody like peeking in the window,
I'm not kidding.
See if he'll notice it in his own
scream
cam.
Like a girl and run into the other room. And then I can see Kirky going, "Clip it, got it."
Do we think we'll need more than one character? I think it depends on how much you like doing builds. There's a perk that you could buy that allows you more pre-built loads, like loadouts. I think you start with 3 or 4 loadouts, and then there's a perk that lets you buy more. So there's that. Hopefully the items that you have equipped on a loadout don't count towards your stat or towards your inventory this time. I don't know if they will or not. But I think you will, if anything, as a mule, because again, at endgame, I don't think the stash space is going to be big enough. But it all depends on what they do with gear sets, because with brand sets I could totally see it because there's so many pieces.
Dude, that's so cool, Kirky. I just saw that, man. That is badass. Kirky tagged us in a picture on Twitter of Negative Ramos. Thank you, Kirky. That's fucking fantastic, man. Negative Ramos.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It really is. Shout out Mr. Commendation. That's fantastic, dude. Nice picture, bro. Andrew Negative Ramos. Oh, you guys got to check that out. Division game. Oh man, they tweeted that too.
I just retweeted Kirky's, so
nice.
I mean, for tokens, coins, like the daily coins get twice as many coins because of 2 characters. Oh, do you? I know that they combined all of in Division 1 at one point, like you were capped at like 100 div tag or whatever it was, and then they combined all of them, so you got the total of everybody's. But I don't know if they actually did that overall, like if they expanded the total to 400, so if you only have one character you can have 400, or if you have four. I don't know how that works out, to be honest, because I've had 4 characters in the Division 1 since a month and a half in, or 2 months in.
Muling it, huh?
Yeah.
I've always going with a female character, to be honest with you, and I really dig it. And it's got nothing to do with me staring at the buttocks the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always used to ask people, I'm like, why did you go with a female character? And I just was, and they're like, why? What difference does it make? I'm like, no, it doesn't make any difference. I'm like, what made you do that? And they're like, I don't know, it's just something different and unique. I'm like,
yeah.
I went with a female one. I think that's what I'm going to do this time around myself.
Female characters, to me, always generally have cooler options as far as hair and looks and options.
Yep.
So like I tend to do that, and whenever I play actual RPGs, like where I'm going to role play, I've always enjoyed playing female characters more, because it allows me to be more of like an actor, or like create something new. If I play a guy, like I am a guy, I've lived a guy's life, I know that. Like it's harder for me to be creative with a male character than it is with a female character, because like I have no idea. Although I'm sure that, you know, every time I create, you know, a female character, it's probably the same thing that every other, you know, cis hetero white guy creates when they create a female character. But I do have a problem making good-looking female characters. Generally, I try to make them look super hot. And while I'm in the character creation, they look super hot. And then I get out in the game and they look like, you know, the fucking Joker. So
I just want to make them look nice and pretty and like, you know, like real kind of girl next door look. And then all of a sudden they're like, boom, here's a bullet in your face. Got him. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Kirky. No, I mean, and that's what's so cool, man. I know you had preached about it, and it killed me to not be able to answer you about the alpha and customization. And I know we didn't get a ton with this, but I'm actually really curious to see how they go with customization for the sequel here, because I mean, I'm really, you know, you start getting into that, you really do. Like, I know around Halloween, everyone was doing the Jason masks, you know, with Division 1, and then, you know, a lot of people were doing, like, I saw Dork Overlord, shout out to the Dork. He did for a while a really cool, like, kind of like a sanitation worker look. They had like the vest and all the different, you know, grungy looking jeans and boots and all that. And I was like, you start to really, it could almost take on its own lore and its own little story. You just kind of get into it, man. I'm wearing.
PD, if you wear Crocs and socks, I will go to PC just to fucking go rogue and kill you. That's just gonna happen.
Gray Rogue for life.
Do I think character making will be better than Division 1? I hope so. I think if you look at the randomized elements that we get on these characters, there's definitely more facial hair options than we had in Division 1. There's definitely more hair
glasses,
options. You know, you've got glasses, you've got all these things. But just as far as the character itself, you've got arm tattoos, you've got leg tattoos, you've got beards, different hairstyles, and stuff like that. What I'm assuming we'll get is 5 to maybe 10 base faces per gender. And then we'll get to do skin tone. And then I think we'll have hairstyles, beards, tattoos, and stuff like that. My fear with it is that a lot of basic appearance items, right, will be pay to get. Right, that they'll be in loot boxes or stuff, right? Like, if you want a cool full sleeve tattoo, like, you may be able to get, like, a tattoo of, you know, like a Hello Kitty tattoo or something like that. But if you want the really cool full sleeve, fucking go more biggie-sized badass full sleeve, you know, that's going to be in a loot box, or that's going to be a couple bucks. I hope they don't go that route. I hope that we have some really, really cool options. I hope that tattoos, like arm, I hope right arm, left arm, you know, right arm, left leg are all separate slots, instead of like in the Division 1 where you got the tattoos and it was just the neck tattoo, right?
Right.
I really hope that it's closer to Wildlands than it is Division 1. I think it will be. I just don't know how far on that scale it's going to slide. I hope it's all the way, because I loved Wildlands character creation and character customization.
White tank top with grease stains. Dude, did you see, maybe on my mind was playing tricks on me, but I could have swore I saw capris in there, man. Oh, I'm just saying. There's capris. I'm rocking them.
Dude, my character has and by the way, I tweeted out something yesterday. You guys can find me on Twitter and find the tweet. I'm super curious in this, and I kind of hope it takes off. Take a screenshot of your character, tweet it at me, and then or reply to that tweet and tell me, just using 1 or 2 lines, what your character was doing when they got the call. You know, like, I know for a fact my guy, I'm going to try to find the tweet right now so I can put it up in chat. My guy he just got done mowing the lawn. Oh, Kirky got it. Okay, thanks. Well, I'm trying to find the individual tweet.
Oh, okay, I got you. Wife beaters for the group. Oh, Lord.
Here it is. I got it.
Sun's out, guns out.
To tweet. Here it is. So my dude, I know for a fact, Kirky found that one too. Thanks, man. He had just finished mowing the lawn next to his trailer, and it was a riding mower, of course, right, for the little tiny patch of grass, and he got done. As soon as he finished, he rode his mower to the party store to buy some new beer, and then, like, drove back and was just hanging out on his lawnmower, drinking his beer next to the trailer on this tiny little patch of grass, and then he got the call, and that's why he showed up, dude. He's got the camo hat. He's got a mullet. He's got fucking lamb chops. He's wearing jorts with construction boots on. Dude, dude was straight out of just, it's amazing. Like, yes, capris are definitely in. I've seen some people with capris. So, wife beaters and mullets. Oh, we can be the Trailer Park Boys. Dude, I'm telling you, man, I want to hear your character stories. So, if you're into that kind of, I'm a role player at heart, so I love that kind of stuff. Combat shorts. Dude, as soon as I saw jean shorts, I was like, I am going rogue so much on jorts.
With jorts?
Yep. I'm going rogue on jorts, man. It's almost as bad as socks and sandals to me, dude. I hate jorts.
I'm thinking about doing, like, capris with, like, construction boots and then, like, a rainbow tank top and then, like, a fedora. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, totally random. And then have this massive backpack on the front.
Banana hammock and Crocs. Probably still listen to Achy Breaky Heart.
Yeah.
Dude, he's probably got a fake platinum album of Achy Breaky Heart on his wall. Right mounted next to some animal head, which is probably a squirrel head.
That says America on it.
Yeah, it's probably a squirrel head mounted, right? Because, like, he probably lives in an area where maybe there's not a lot of deer, so he can't go deer hunting, but, like, he can go out hunting. So he just caught, like, a badass squirrel one of these days, and he took that thing out. But the body was annihilated, but he still had the head. So he mounted that head on the wall right there next to that Achy Breaky Heart.
Dorsa, do we think crafted gear will be a relevant component in building, since it seems the best way to go grind for the brand sets? Ooh. Janko?
I don't know, because maybe there is a crafted brand set, right? We don't know, because we haven't been able to dig into crafting at that part. Maybe we can get the blueprint and actually craft those branded sets. Because the thing with the branded set is that some of them will have, you know, a set amount of attribute or will have more attributes than others. Like built in, like I had a chess piece that was a high end that had 4 attributes, but then I've had other chess pieces that only have 1 or 2 attributes. So maybe we actually craft the brand sets on top of also crafting gear sets. I'm guessing it will, because I've already found that crafting, especially where it comes to like weapon mods, is the way to go. So I'm thinking that's where we're gonna get. Like right now, you can grind for RNG to get like a better chess piece of a particular brand set, but I think the way that you're truly going to be able to grind for that is through that crafting and through random rolls with the crafting to really be able to do that. I'm hoping. I've been hoping for crafting to be useful in the game since the launch of Division 1. So, and then
I think overall crafting is going to be really important to this game. I feel like, and it should be, like, it was really undervalued towards the later part of the game cycle. I mean, you could certainly craft weapons.
Sorry, I was laughing at Clancy's repeat.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was laughing so hard. And when Fate said the thing about banana hammock and Crocs, I was like, okay, stay quiet, remain composed, don't fuck up Johnny Boom's speech. And then, I couldn't do it on that one. That made me laugh so hard.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if they do banana hammocks and Crocs and you can quote this, you can clip it, you can call the New York Post and take out an ad. I don't care. I will eat a pineapple pizza live on stream if that happens.
I don't know
Listen, if that happens, I'm eating. Let's go.
Clip it, guys.
Clip it. Imagine if the clan name was the Crocs, CROK or something, and there's just a bunch of dudes running around banana hammocks and Crocs. I mean, you want to talk about trolling people. I mean, the only thing that would be worse if you could teabag them with a banana hammock on. Croc killers. Yeah, Fate, right?
But what they need, if they do have, I was going to say if they put Speedos or banana hammocks in the game, then I will never play this game again. Once I discover
that's fake news.
Because I'm not running around, I'm not going to be killed by some dude running around in a Speedo.
All of a sudden, Magic Mike is running around the dark.
He's like, I'm Gambit, motherfucker. No, you're not yet. You stopped that game or that movie. But glove variants. Somebody remind me about that because this is super, super cool. I just said Gambit and I was like, oh, glove variants. Anyway, what would be cool on that though is if they had a body hair amount that you could have, so that you could really be wearing a Speedo and just have a bush from hell coming out,
hamburger meat hanging off.
I'm just coming out the side, get those Shepe Frizzlies just all over the place coming out. Oh my god, man, that would be hilarious. And it would be like that scene in Borat where the dude is running around white shorts with a skid mark. Chest pubes down
this
to the ball.
We can't have nice things.
I know.
They got a Nerf chest hair. Or you go to Loot and you get to pick up a bottle of Nair.
Can you imagine? You know how in the patch notes they'll be fixed a weird door. there'll be a patch note and it'll be gave Ramos a trim. Right?
Buff the shaving capabilities. Oh my god.
Buff the razors.
Don't
fix the weird pube.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's starting to fall apart. We're to episode 10.
Trimmed a stray pube.
Imagine if you get a little bow tie and you see a guy doing the disco emote that you like.
Fuck yes. Oh my god.
Here we go, folks.
I'll never forget when they posted that they fixed the upside down moon. Yep, I remember that. When the moon was upside down.
Really?
Oh, yeah, way back.
I don't remember that.
It was
That's
month
crazy.
1 or 2 of the original Division. I remember at that point we were bitching about how many things were actually wrong and with the game, and then they took the time to flip the moon right side up. And it was who submitted that as a bug report? You know what, man? This game feels terrible. There's no high ends. I can't get any. There's all these bugs. Enemies won't spawn. They can't come out through the door. There's all of these issues. But you know what? Damn it. Fix the moon. People are bitching about it a lot.
That's important.
Good God. The things that people will bitch about in video games cracks me up at times.
Unbelievable.
My luck is you'll find a used razor in a loot box. It was 1.3, okay.
I was gonna make a really disgusting joke, but I'm not gonna do it right now. I'll do it off. I'll do it off stream because we gotta stay somewhat professional, I guess. Not really, but
I think we lost that with the pube. No,
yeah,
with the pube buffs.
Definitely, that's all out the window. Between that and my towels falling around me, I mean, we're lucky we're functioning right now.
Well, dude, that's what happens when you broadcast live from the
secret location.
Location in Washington D.C. under fire right now. This is exclusive, guys. It's a good thing you're tuning in. Johnny might not be here next week. We never know.
You never know.
That safe house could get hit any minute. Thing went down the hill when your bunker falls apart. Right.
Yeah, that's bad news.
Went out the window and towel fell. No, that's totally true.
I promise next week I'll have a better background for you guys. I'm sure you love looking at my bed and my pillows. I mean, maybe we could do like a behind the safe house, and I'll like walk around with like the camera and be like, this is where I pee, and this is where I sleep, and this is where I eat.
That's true. We could. I wish I had the behind the scenes footage of you bent over on that bed from last week.
Oh, dude. No, I don't. Because we would, like, literally, people would unfollow.
I don't know how many of you farm for resources, but if you've done control points, you already know the captains require resources. I wonder for what reason. We were talking about it earlier, Dork. Yeah. And the reigning theme, or the reigning frame of thought was that, like, in the live game, the more resources they have, the longer they can hold that point. And then if they run out of resources, then maybe they lose people, and then it can get taken back over or something. But the problem with that I had is, then do we get a reward if that stays active at some point, right? Like, if we keep it green for 2 hours or 3 hours or 2 days,
what's the upside?
Right, what's the upside? Because if not, we get stuff. If there's enemies there and we get to go take it over, we get loot. Right, that's when we unlock that loot room or whatever. So if that gets taken back over, does that loot room become lootable again? And I meant to bring this up when we were talking about it earlier. What is your opinion, Johnny and chat, about those loot boxes? Will they respawn? Because in the Division 1, if you remember, as you went through and you got a weapon at like level 14 or whatever, sweet, I got a blue, but guess what? That loot box was gone for good. When you hit 30, it would have been really nice to be able to run around and collect all of this stuff and get level 30 weapons. Are they going to respawn at 30?
I don't know. I mean, you got a couple choices there. I feel like either they got to lock it down, and then it's just capped, or maybe it will still spawn, but it's like really underpowered kind of. Again, I hate to always do this, but like maybe like if you're say like 30 and then you find and you're running through and it's available because you haven't like accessed it in a while, maybe it'll drop say like a level 10 weapon or 15 just for like resources or to share with a friend who you're playing with, or maybe they change it and it's a weapon, and then once you take the actual weapon, maybe it's a stockpile of water or food. I don't know, man. That's a great point. I'd love to hear what you guys in chat think as well too, man.
How cool would it be with at 30, you know how like the Black Tusk comes in and they invade everything? How cool would it be, and this coming from somebody that's wished that the loot drops in survival would be randomized for the past 2.5 years, and they haven't been. But what if at level 30, all of them just get reloaded and swapped around? So like where a weapon was one time, now it's, components or electronics or whatever. That'd be pretty sweet. Evidently, they do the supply rooms that you get respawn. I had no idea. I've gone back.
I can't believe how much loot, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but I will, because some of the people just stopping in for the first time, lurking around. I can't believe how much loot there is to get in the open world, and it's pretty cool because I've noticed a few times I maybe went to the same street or building, and maybe one day I got polycarbonate, and then the next day I got a kid's shoe, and then the next day I got steel. And I feel like, I mean, who knows, because it's new, but maybe over time it becomes redundant. But for right now, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a good amount of random loot when I'm in the open world. Janko's going to hit up the little debrief room, so all the pressure is on me right now to not screw up. Too late. But again, while he's doing that, just a quick FYI, you guys could follow Janko on Twitch as well as myself. Our descriptions are all below right there. Actually, there you go. And I hope you're enjoying the channel and the content. If you guys have ideas, please don't hesitate to message us. This is community driven, so we want to make it really as much about you guys. Yeah, it's a lot of our thoughts. We're trying to engage you guys as well. But if you have a topic you really want to talk about, let's get it, man. Please don't be afraid to let us know. I'll just read some of the comments here. Just not the big chest, the smaller ones. Okay. best place for resources is in the alleyways. I've noticed. I've been catching on to that too, Dork. And I noticed too, and I'm sure you guys have as well, but anytime you shoot a caged area with like a lock on it, which I think is such a nice little way, instead of just, hitting open gate or everything is just beep, 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 and you're punching in numbers. It's kind of cool. You're like, kapoof, like you blow off a lock and you go in there and you loot. It's a subtle touch, but man, it's really pretty sweet. He's gonna debuff in the debrief room. Kappa. Oh god. Just waiting for that headboard behind you to collapse next. Oh, dude, that's actually a really comfy bed too. I know, right? I'm actually really calm right now. Like, somebody hit my car, so like I have to go downstairs and see how bad it is. I don't think it's that bad. And then I have to call the police, and then we have the video of them. But I mean, they're not gonna find them. Could be anywhere. So I'm kind of in a good mood for considering that all happened. And I'll be playing some Division later, so I'm looking forward to squatting up with you guys. Try to stay on the positive side of things, man. I'm sad the headshot sound is going. Dork, I'm with you from your stream the other day. I feel like the headshot sound is a little underwhelming. I feel like they could make it like more of a pop or more of a squish. Like, it just feels dull. Maybe the volume of it needs to come up a little bit. What do you guys think? That's a really kind of a like mild point, but headshots are always fun, I need to talk to Wade and see if he could sneak some handcuffs onto your headboard. If you could figure that one out, I literally would fly to your house, Kirky, and shake your hand. I mean, I want to do it anyways, but that would be phenomenal if you pull that one off. But yeah, the headshots thing, man, like, I don't know. It's, they just sound, the old one, it felt like it was more of like more of a whistle, more of like a snap sound. And this one feels more like a pop, which is fine too. I mean, it is. I just feel like maybe they should louden it. It just feels a little on the quiet side. Uh-oh. I think Janko's house is haunted. Oh, that's Janko. Okay.
I'm back. Sorry.
I love the sound when you eject the mag. Sounds real. Yeah, dude. Like, again, PD, I think they did a great job with the weapons, the sounds, the authenticity of how they look. I don't know if it's because I'm playing it in 25, 60, 304. I'm playing it on an Ultra just to try to capitalize on how nice it looks. But man, like the scribing, the serial numbers, the scribings on the guns, like it all sounds and looks really good, man. Dude, credit where credit is due.
There's serial numbers on the guns?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
If you zoom in, yeah.
Holy crap! I haven't even noticed.
I'll see if I can get a screenshot and get it to you, man. It's pretty cool.
I haven't even noticed that.
Don't challenge me. I could become an online stalker. No, I don't want to challenge you. Kirky said he wants to see if Wade could sneak in my room and handcuff me to the headboard before next week's episode. So like, I'm like this. I'm like, hey guys, this is weird, but welcome.
I want to see if this works. I'm testing this. I tried to get it working yesterday. Nope, it's not working. Cool. Okay. I wanted to see if the shoutouts were working, and they're not. So I'll get it fixed soon. What are your favorite weapons so far in all the weapon categories? What are your thoughts, plus minuses each mod gets? Should they be adjusted? Dork, we hit on it. We were talking about that earlier, and like all of the weapons feel pretty good. The 1 to 7, I think, feel really good. After that, the end game ones are either really good or really bad, but part of that is also with the builds. I feel like they put the builds together for specific things. Like the Demolitionist is more of an in-your-face style or whatever that I don't know. It's hard to tell. As far as weapon mods, plus minuses, I don't think we'll know until we get to endgame, because there's so many bonuses that you can get at endgame for like, crit chance, crit damage, whatever. Like those weapon mods that give you the negative seems super harsh early, may not be as harsh later. So maybe they need to tweak it so that those bonuses and negatives scale as you do. I don't know. What do you think about that, Johnny?
I really haven't paid a whole lot of attention to that as far as the mods, because I really haven't had any. I've literally crafted my first mag the other day, and like I said, I literally had just been jumping in to just play, try to level up, really just jump into the experience. I've been honestly paying more attention to looting, the environment, like what's working, what's not, pluses and minuses with like sound or not, that sort of thing. So I'll let you know, Dork. I can get back to you, or we could talk about it next week. But as far as like favorite weapons, so far, like I really like the L86 and a lot of the semi-automatic rifles. They feel really nice. And a lot of that, again, beating a dead horse, but a lot of that falls from I started getting into using the Jade Rabbit in Destiny 2, a lot of the scout rifles in Destiny, because I felt like if you lined up your shot and you could go click, 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 instead of like trying to hold down and balance and aim an automatic, I felt like you could chunk more with less shots, hopefully quicker. I've really been liking the semi-automatic rifles so far and the LMGs, which is a stark contrast for me because I really didn't like the LMGs only in survival. I like
Oh. I think Safe House just took another shot.
Yeah, it's not looking good right now. I really might have to hunker down under the bed, so we'll see. Yeah, I like the LED. I like the LMGs so far, and the scout rifles, Dork, and chat. Yeah, they feel nice to me.
My favorite gun overall has got to be the Showstopper.
Which one?
The Showstopper. The AA-12 or whatever.
Yeah.
Both the green and the blue version I've gotten have been freaking fantastic. But other than that, the gun that I'm most surprised at, and it wasn't even in Division 1 that I love, is the CTAR 21, or I don't know how you actually pronounce. I think it's CTAR, but I mean that's what's in there. The CTAR. I don't know. That sounds stupid, but yeah, no, I love that gun, man. I really, really, really like it, and I'm hoping to get one in the end game stuff. The SRSA-1 or whatever, the marksman rifle that they give the specialist, the sniper specialist, is amazing. Badass. And feels great. And that SIG 716, I'm waiting to get one of those because that gun is phenomenal.
I'm pretty sure I have that, bro. I'm not 100% sure. I have something I wanted to say. I know the SASG is the SASG, the sausage. The sausage. It's a wicked awesome sausage. But I think I have that other one that the SIG, and I was using it the other night. I'm almost positive. I'll double check. I don't want to say and then I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And man, like again, like you could line it up and you're just like clink, 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 and for someone who's got like medium to average, or average to really even good aim, I think if you have good aim, man, that thing's gonna be like, if you put it in someone's hands like a WIDS, oh my god, I could see that thing being filthy because it's a fast rate of fire, and you could it shoot as fast as you can click and do nice chunky damage. That's my personal favorite so far.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna jump into PvP.
Sure,
definitely. Real quick, the mortar tube, aiming it was kind of a pain in the butt. I once I got used to it, I definitely like it. I have found some bugs with it where the mortars fly out and they either get absorbed by the floor or do no damage at all. I've also run into bugs with the crossbow, and I need to clip it and go back to yesterday's stream, find it and clip it, because there was the one part of that enemy where you fight a named enemy downstairs, and he's got the little the Johnny 5 robot is with him. He was in cover, within 5 feet of me. I lined up a headshot with that crossbow, hit him in the head. It went directly through him into the wall, exploded. He took no damage. And I was like, what the hell? I'm going to try that again. And another one went right through. I've had a real hard time with those arrows flying through enemies, not sticking to them. And then having issues with some of the specialized weapons doing damage. Not the sniper, man. That thing chunks, man. You hit somebody, their head literally, if you hit them and you're close enough, their head actually explodes. You don't get the cool sound that you get in the infected whatever it is, the global event. But dude, you will see their head explode in a shower of red if you hit them close enough with the 50 cal. So yeah,
that's badass. I can't wait to try that later.
Yeah, definitely try it. Yeah, next week
jump into the DZ and PvP.
Yeah, I definitely think we do, because multiple people have asked about it. So you tackle it first, man. Go. I know you and I have talked about it. So
okay, I mean briefly. So yeah, DZ. Obviously, like just kind of random wild points and figures and information. Obviously, you have the turrets at the checkpoints now, which will help with the grieving. It's helping, and I'll get into it in a little bit. It's almost hurting it a little bit. There's another side to that, believe it or not. But so you have that. You have the new rogue system, which is really pretty cool. There's a lot of flexibility there. I've only gone into what is it, DZ East. I haven't done the Occupy DZ yet, but there's an Occupy DZ. Normalization feels really good. I'm just gonna throw out some quick bullet points just briefly, and then Janko, like I'll let you chime in too, and chat please as well chime in. Time to kill is fast. PvP, I think now is more so about tacticality and playing smart. Yeah, you can face tank a little bit, but no. And especially in a group, you better be coordinated. It's really a different animal. It really feels and plays different. You can't just go out in the middle and pop a med kit and pop a this. It's really a lot more what they wanted originally, which was cover based. Yeah, like I said, you can go out in the open, of course, but it really forces you to think, pay attention to your surroundings. I think PvP is going to be more of a thinking man's game now. I don't know what people will find to quote unquote exploit, because I'm sure there'll be something. Weapons, I mean, we kind of talked about a little bit, but overall, I really have enjoyed the PvP experience. It's really fast paced. The loading screens, I don't know if it's the same on console, but the loading screens have been really fast. So yeah, you go rogue. I still don't like the 30-second timer. I wish it was 15. Like, let's get people killed and then let's get them right back in the action. Like 30 seconds, it's not a lot. It's pulling strings. I get it, but I kind of like die, get right back in, die, get right back in. Yeah, like kind of like skirmish. It's a lot of fun. You got to really think about where you are and how to play. I've had some success, and I think people who don't necessarily like to PvP, I think they'll want to jump in and try it, and they're going to be successful too. The normalization feels pretty good so far. I think overall, that's my experience. It's the extractions are kind of chaotic. You don't know if players are rushing in or not, especially without a pulse. I mean, literally, we weren't playing with a pulse. And just to make a long story short, we were by one of the extractions, and the overgrown grasses were there. And we're just sitting around, and we were like, la di da di da. And then, boop, this team ran in rogue and was like, boop, wiped the floor because we weren't expecting us, to get pushed from one direction. And I was like, whoa, that was crazy. And I mean, we weren't even mad. We were like, that was just nuts. And then it kind of made you be like head on a swivel again, and just kind of like situational awareness, and just it felt fast paced and like gritty.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
Yeah,
I did. I'm into it so far.
As far as the overall feel of the Dark Zone, because Dork just asked like if it feels desolate. During the day, it feels a lot like the regular Dark Zone in New York minus the snow. Even in the outside of the Dark Zone, the overgrowth and all that, I've said that like the Division 1 made you feel kind of isolated, especially when you got the fog and like the really heavy snow. Like you just felt isolated, right? Like there was nothing else around you, and then all of a sudden you would hear gunfire or something. You're like, oh crap, where's that coming from? This game makes me feel claustrophobic at times, even in the light zone. Like it's bright sun out, but then like if you get into some of the spots where there's like a lot of overgrowth from the ground, and then you've also got trees over top of you, like it just I don't know, man, it feels claustrophobic, it feels tight, but then there's more places to go in and stuff like that, so it feels more diverse. In the Dark Zone, especially at night or when it's raining, it is silent and creepy. You're walking around there's a lot less sound because there's not as like many deer and stuff like that running around. I don't know if there's any, to be honest with you. I don't remember.
I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, offhand right now, I can't think of any of the like animals or anything like that in the Dark Zone. I do think that they need to populate the dark zone a little bit more, because it's a third the size, you get half the people. And there were times when Foxhound and I were in there. I am not a PvP guy at all. Division 1, I stayed away from the dark zone as much as possible, other than like doing some solo ninja stuff, which I do want to talk about as we dig into the dark zone more, because I think the gray rogue system is really, really super cool. But like, I don't like the fact that when I went rogue, like I was trying to lean into it, because the only way I'm going to get better is by doing it. And I'm really trying to lean into it and get used to it. What Johnny said about the tacticality, I love, because I feel like that's more my mindset. So I found that if I'm in cover and I'm forcing somebody to come to me, I'm going to win that 1v1 9 times out of 10, right? I'm not going to get outplayed that way. Like,
you're putting shots down.
Yeah,
sure.
Or I would have to be outplayed in order to lose that gunfight. Whereas in Division 1, I felt like as soon as somebody was just closing the distance, I'm humped. Like,
You're
it's
humped.
just, I had no hope at all. So there's that, but it did feel kind of empty at times. Like Foxhound and I, because I was trying to lean into it, I would go rogue, and like the max we could get would be like three rogues, and then we're just running it off, and like we couldn't find other players a lot of times. And I don't know how much of that is because there's not a lot of people in the dark zone, or if they are, but they're doing their own thing, and it's kind of hard to find people. I do think that the rogue pulses, once you go full rogue, I almost think it should be like Manhunt, where you're either on that mini map at all times or or like every 5 or 10 seconds. Because if you only have a 30-second rogue timer or a 90-second rogue timer and you're pulsing every 15 or 20 seconds, dude, who's going to be in the dark zone with the map open waiting for that pulse to hit? I mean, you're going to die if you do that. Either NPCs are going to come along or a player.
Did the dark zone feel too empty to you with NPCs?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I felt like they needed to populate it a little bit more. My thing originally, when I first got in there, I agree with you, and I want to actually backtrack a quick tad. I'm with Janko. At night, even in the LZ, they did a real nice job of it not just being dark. Now I guess they did a better job because of the seasons. New York was dark, snow falling, so you didn't have like that kind of like moonlight. Now it feels like, especially when it's not raining and it goes night, you see like your backpack and your watch glow a little bit more. You'll see like the ambient light on the character's hair and their head. It feels more like you can get like an actual moonlight, and it just feels and looks different. Like you can't see the NPCs all that good. Like, for example, you see the hyenas and you see their juice on their vest. But without that, you might just walk up to a car and then be like, oh shit, there's a hyena. You wouldn't see them without it. Like, it feels as if it was an area that's, overrun. Electricity is down or at an absolute minimum. And you're just walking around like a desolated area. They nailed it. They absolutely did. The dark zone, to me, it doesn't feel, I kind of disagree a tad. It doesn't feel as gritty. It's overgrown. It just doesn't feel as gritty. It kind of feels like an extension of the light zone a little bit too much to me. Now, I've heard certain areas get progressively worse, and there are some cool areas where there's like a lot of chemicals and there's some bags of trash or bodies, whatever they are. I'd like to see a little bit more of that, because I feel like that area is corded off, and it should be like, you should walk in there and be like, oh God, I don't want to be here. Like in the old one, you'd walk down and it'd be like 20 bags just laying on the ground of frozen bodies. Obviously, they can't do that here because they're not frozen. I'd like to see a little bit more grit and grime in the DZ, but it's not bad. That's just me wanting to really, want something, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from on that. I know the North DZs 789, when they added those, I remember walking around a corner and like all of a sudden there was just like trash bags just piled up as far as you could see. And like, I get this is 7 months later, right? So even though like the DC 62 or whatever the diarrhea explosions were, like we don't know what happened with that necessarily. So maybe they had gone in to start cleaning up a little bit or something. I don't know. Maybe there's a story reason for that. But it
Could
did.
be.
Like, there's definitely bare bodies laying around. Or not bare, like naked, but like, not in body bags. There's still some body bags laying around. But there's nowhere near the mass graves that Manhattan had. And maybe that's because that's another area. Wouldn't it be cool as fuck if we got the underground and the underground was the mass graves, right? Where like we get down there and there's just how right. But then maybe that's what DC decided to do with it. Maybe we get to the reflecting pool in in between the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial, and that's where all the bodies were dumped, right?
Could be.
Like we haven't seen the rest of the map, so we don't know exactly what. Well, at least I haven't. I've only seen what's in the beta. I don't know what was in the alpha. But like, maybe there's other areas like that would explain why this doesn't feel that way. But I definitely think there needs to be more NPC patrols in the Dark Zone.
Agreed.
Going from, and this is going into that gray rogue thing. One of the things I loved about the emptiness of it was in the Division 1, one of my favorite things to do solo, because I do play primarily solo. Even especially when I'm streaming, but even before I was streaming, I have more fun in the Dark Zone in Division 1, going in solo, trying to loot crates and stuff like that, or even like clear not landmarks, but like named mobs. And then like I never had Dark Zone keys, so I could never open those, but like do that kind of thing and then try to extract while there's other players around. Like that was always what the game was to me. Sure. And I love the Gray Rogue system that they've put in place, because it is that essentially, right? I can run around, I hit the terminal, I run around, I can now lockpick the boxes. Somebody had mentioned it a long time ago. But you can lockpick the boxes, get some gear. Some of it's contaminated, some of it's not, and then like keep going. Then you get to the what's it called, Thieves' Den. And there's a vendor, which kind of irritates me that in the beta, it takes, I can't remember what it's called, but there's some kind of component, some kind of lootable resource that you need 5 of that I haven't found any of. So I can't tell what's on that vendor, right? I don't know how useful that vendor's going to be.
The MREs?
Oh, it's not MREs. It's God dang it. What's it called, Fox? Do you remember? It was some kind of like an electronic, some kind of circuit, integrated circuit is what it was called. Like I needed 5 integrated circuits. I didn't have any. So like, I don't know how useful those are going to be. If that vendor has some cool, unique loot that only Gray Rogues can get, that's going to be super, super cool to be able to go in there and do that. And as soon as you go in, your rogue timer gets cleared off. So then you get some XP. So soloing in the Dark Zone is going to be dangerous, because we'll get to the actual PvP stuff. Johnny kind of touched on it, where like 1v2s, 1v3s, you get to 1v3, 1v4, just kiss your ass goodbye, wait to respawn. Like that's just, you're not going to win 1v3s, 1v4s. You're just
1v2, you got a 50-50 shot, no pun intended, in my opinion. It can be done. It's not hard. I saw a few tweets about it online today and yesterday. And yesterday, like I had an instance where like I was going trade for trade with a guy, and then I got pushed from the side, and when I was trading with the other guy, my armor went, and the guy from the side, it was cancel Christmas like as soon as the armor was over, and I was out in the open. It's you just can't. You gotta, I mean, I had to play it a little smarter, but it's just not that thankfully it's not like the old one anymore. I found the old system to be incredibly boring, and frankly, excuse my language, I just found it to be stupid. Like running around and funneling people and throwing grenades and rinsing and repeating. Like it's just, that was the only method to success, and that, and like the toys, the turrets, and then I feel like this is more about gameplay and actual shooting and angles and tactics.
Yeah.
Which is what they wanted. And I mean, there's still the the drones and all the skills, and we'll see more of that, granted, but I mean, the time to kill felt pretty good. And again, I think it's more about gunplay, which is what I personally like.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think that with the normalization, we're going to run into a system, or we are now in a system that is going to be more skill-based, as opposed to, as far as who's going to win a fight, as opposed to, I've got this gear set or I've got these bonuses, so, I'm going to win because I can reload my health 87 times in a fight, or I've got a magazine that's got 30 more bullets than you do, or whatever. I do think that normalization is going to make it more skill-based, which I'm 150% cool with, even though I'm a potato. Like, to me, that's why, as much as I'm kind of off Destiny right now, it's one of the things I've always liked about Destiny's PvP and
yes.
About Crucible. I can't do it for more than an hour or two at a time because I get really, really irritated at it. But in brief, pockets, super fun. And it's because I know if I die, it's because I did something stupid, or every time I die. And this is the biggest takeaway I've gotten from the beta so far in PvP, both in Dark Zone and in Skirmish. Every time I've died, I've had the idea I could have done something better there to either win this fight, or this is the moment I effed up. Like, I know that. And it's not just about I couldn't do anything, which is 9 times out of 10, that's how I felt in the Division 1. Was like, there was nothing I could have done. I was going to lose that. I was done.
And honestly, that's what helps make you a better player. I always, was a very average PvP player in Division 1, and I still probably am. I started to really come into my own in Destiny, and like, not great, but I think I was better by far in Destiny than a Division. And I really enjoyed how, like, you died, okay, you got right back into the fight. Like you said, like, you might have ran a corner in Destiny and be like, oh, why did I do that? I should have hunter rolled through it, and then blah 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 blah. It's to me, it's the more you do it, the better you'll get to. And that's where I guess I'm going with this. Like, I started to, because of different quests in Destiny, I played. Oh,
Safe House took another shot. Johnny's out of it, guys. Johnny's out.
Yeah, we're not looking good. I'm hanging on by a shingle right now. The more you do it, the better you get. When I first started, even with Destiny, like, I was good, but like, you could tell, like, like, I was exposed. But then you get more comfortable, you get more used to it. Asian needs me. And I think that'll happen here. One of the reasons I always like the Skirmish and Last Stand, and I'm glad they're kind of bringing that approach into the DZ, because I think it's really going to get people involved and off the sidelines. Like, you and I have already talked about it, and a lot of our friends are like, hey man, like, I'm not into PvP, but I think I'm really going to try and make a consensus or a conscious effort to really get out there. And I think people will enjoy it because they won't be dying. Maybe not as nearly as much as they would before. You're still going to die, and you're still going to get dominated if you're not careful. Like, you're not taking a player who's like a 2 overall from maybe out of a 10, and you're not making him an 8 or a 9.
Right.
You're not. But you're doing what they wanted, and it's a complex thing, and I think so far they got it. You're bridging that gap to keep everyone, kind of competing fairly. Yeah. I like it so far. It's frustrating when you can't pop a med kit or pop a heal. You're out in the middle of the open. Like, I was doing it yesterday. I'm like running around. I'm like, oh shit, I'm humped. Pop a heal. Nope. And you got to try and scramble to get to a car and pop armor. It's totally different, man. It feels a lot more fast paced. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. I totally forgot what I was going to say. Going off of what you were saying. Crap. There was something. Anyway, I don't even know. But
thanks, Fox. I love you, man.
Yeah, Fox, you kick ass. I appreciate you. What's up, Nervash? I just ran around. Dude, I heard about that yesterday, Kirky, about the guy with the chainsaw. I totally missed where it was, in the underground south of the White House. I was down there because that's where I found those keys. Dude. That's where I found keys. And somebody was like, oh, I found a chest that, like, I need a key for. And I was like, I found a bunch of them in there.
Did you see any of those on Random No Janko?
Nope.
The True Sons, they have some random caches in some of the missions. And if you have a True Sons key, you could open it, and I don't know what you get from it, but
yeah, I found keys for just about everybody just running around in the in the sewers south of the White House where Kirky's talking about, but it was empty when I was down there. There was no NPCs. There was a ton of loot. Like, I mean, I got armor and weapons and all kinds of stuff, and then there was like these boxes on the wall that almost look like if you go to like a valet or something, right? You open the door and there's keys.
It's all the
look
keys.
Like that, and there was keys in there. And I also got one key from each of the bounties that I've done. Somebody asked about the open world drop zone thing also, or supply drop. I had one. I started running towards it. Didn't realize that I thought it was gonna be like the supply drops that we have in the Division 1, or like the Dark Zone supply drops, where like when you get close to it, there'll be like 5 dudes standing around. No, man, there's like an onslaught of like 20 dudes like coming in waves, and like I ran around a corner. There was like 3 or 4 hyenas that ran out of the building, and like I killed them, and then just kept running towards where I thought I was supposed to go, and then like 5 more poured out behind me, and I was out in the open, and I missed my post-it note. Anybody that's new, this is on my monitor. Stay in cover, but I didn't, and got annihilated.
I love it.
And the next thing I knew, that supply drop was off the map. So I don't know if I can. Suppose that somebody in chat said that those respawn after a while. So hopefully when I log in today, I'll be able to do that again. Also, Petey said something about the Dark Zone that they say that they put all the bodies in concrete containers. The DZ mission. My problem with it was when I stream, I miss a ton of story stuff, because when the game is talking, if it's not in a cutscene, that's generally when I'm talking to chat or catching up on chat or whatever. So I miss so much stuff in stories. Anyway, so I didn't mean to cut you off, Johnny.
No, that's fine. I was wondering, I wanted to talk about, like, as far as, like, with the DZ, like, they put the turrets in and by the checkpoints, which I happen to agree, and I like them. What are your thoughts on, like, people actually running to them for defense, as opposed to, because we had this instance last night, and I could see it. You just don't want to deal with people following you around the same group, not necessarily griefing you, but you can tell they have the upper hand on you, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to run towards the checkpoint, and I'm going to hide out there, and I'm going to try to get a different server. I understand that part. Last night we were with this one group. They weren't trying to leave. They were trying to consistently fight us, but they would not leave the checkpoint, more or less, area, and the range and the lethality on them was crazy. A couple times they strayed away from it, and we were able to engage, and we weren't trolling them, they weren't trolling us, we were just looking at PvP. I think people might abuse that as a mechanic, and I don't know how we really I wanted to I have some thoughts on it, but I want to get your thoughts on, like, either how that is or what you can maybe do to get around that.
Yeah, I've got a funny story about what Petey just said. Is it does make it hard to get out of the checkpoint if your group is rogue. What it also does is lead to interesting fun within a party when one person in the party didn't die and they're trying to go rogue, or they're doing the gray rogue thing as I was, and I just saw a random box and I was like, I'm gonna go lockpick this. Meanwhile, Foxhound is respawning in the checkpoint. I picked that lock as he walked out of the checkpoint. Even though we were, a decent bit away, he went rogue, got annihilated again. It was just...
You get shocked, and then you're one-tapped by, like, those turrets.
Yeah, I think they need to... And that's what Petey just said, right? It makes it hard to get out of the checkpoint if your group is rogue. What I think they need to do is when you get out of the checkpoint, if your group is rogue, you need to get back to within 20 meters or some kind of radius of them, some sort of range of your team before you reflag as rogue, or you need to re-engage in combat with another player or something like that. The problem with that system is, let's say Johnny and I are part of a group, and I die, and he and the other 2 members are still out PvPing with people. I'm no longer rogue. I can then run out. Well, I guess if you're in the occupied, it wouldn't matter that much because those are turned off. I was just going to say, then I can run out and try to get bullets from the other group onto me, so that way they go rogue. But I guess that doesn't happen if they're gray rogue. That would happen, but Yeah, I honestly just think that the rogue mechanic needs to be if you are within a certain radius of your group or a certain range of your group. Other than that, I mean, if people run into them, it's just going to happen. If those people keep running to it, they're just. You said that nobody was griefing anybody, but like in that situation, if you don't want to engage, you can go into the checkpoint, fast travel to another checkpoint, and go about your day. Or exit all the way, come back in and get another server, or reload your server. Like, there's enough ways to get away from a group if you just don't want to engage.
It's just, you know what it was? Like, it felt it was a little frustrating because you could tell they wanted to fight, but they were literally like, they were trying to get us close enough to the turrets, but farther enough away that we would engage them, so they could have the benefit of the turret damage and them as a group. And then on top of it, like every Dark Zone, we had NPCs like running around and meleeing them, meleeing us, so we couldn't really get into a true, PvP versus each other. We had a few moments, but I was like, I'm just afraid that people are gonna like do the reverse now. But I think it'll be the people who don't want a PvP, which is okay. But like your point, I'd rather see them just go in the checkpoint and then switch servers and then or go to a different area instead of just kind of doing the reverse of what we used to do. We players used to do to other people who didn't want PvP, and we would just spawn trap them. It feels like almost a reverse now. I like the turrets a lot though, because it really forces everybody, to me at least, it feels like, listen, stay out in the map, do your thing, go rogue, just play. Like, you don't need to be around here. And it does give people a defense if they're getting harassed, quote unquote, around the map. Like, listen, some people just go in the DZ because they want to go around and clear landmarks. They want to experience it.
Yeah.
They don't really want a PvP. That's always a touchy subject. But listen, if they're getting chased around by like the God Squad group and they're like, you know what, I'm just going to run to the checkpoint, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. I kind of like that mechanic because it lets them get out of there and gets those God Squad players into an instance where they're like, you know what, we could find a group that's more our style to fight, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do think either what Petey said, make it so you have so many seconds to get away, or just if you spawn in the checkpoint, you have 10 seconds or 5 seconds or something of turret immunity once exiting the checkpoint, right? So that if you are still rogue, you're immune, but like you can't trigger that immunity if you're outside there. There's no way to trigger it, so that way you can try to exploit it. There's no way to do that. So just something like that, so that doesn't become an issue, and hopefully
do something cool. You could do, like, if your group is rogue and they're within a certain range, you could have the agent come out and go like boom, 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 on their watch, and it'll say like rogue hacking turrets, immunity eminent, and then it could be like you said, like a 5. You really only need about 5 good seconds to get away from that range. Truthfully, you don't need much more, because beyond that, you could see the checkpoint where we are at. You could either go left, straight, or right, and if you just booked it, and you were out of that turret's range, and that's a great thing. I mean, that might be a cool little quick feature, they could maybe add in.
Yeah, you don't even need that much time if they buff the run speed, right, Johnny?
Exactly, if you didn't walk around everywhere.
What I'm super curious about with the Dark Zone in particular, and I don't know how much you guys did supply drops in the Dark Zone. Somebody said that the Light Zone supply drops, the NPCs will actually loot it. That's cool as hell. I didn't know that.
That's pretty sick. Yeah.
But in the Dark Zone, the supply drops, when Fox and I were in there, whoever opens it gets the chance to steal it, right? Where you can take everything that's in there or open it.
In the Light Zone, this is?
No, in the Dark Zone.
Dark Zone, apologies.
In the Dark Zone supply drops. So, like, you run up, and I think it was triangle to steal it and square to just open it. And Fox and I are in the group. He would open it. I would get my little flash on my screen that says, I got this, these components, whatever, 1 green item, whatever. He opened it and would get, like, 2 or 3 items from it, plus whatever popped up on his screen, even though he didn't steal it. And nothing popped up on my screen. I didn't see anything actually drop from those boxes ever. And when I opened it, all I would see, if I just opened it, was the couple of things on my screen the same way I would. And if I would steal it. There was nothing extra that I got, but I would still go rogue. So I'm curious if that was bugged for me or if it's bugged for everybody.
I haven't done that yet. Yeah. What do you guys got? Anybody in chat have that experience to them as well?
You were solo, so you just had to open it? Only had the option to open it? See, I could have sworn, maybe I was grouped with Fox, but I could have sworn that when I'm
curious to try that later, man. I'm going to actually keep an eye on that. There's a few things from our stream today that I'm going to keep an eye on. That's definitely one of them. Yeah. I want to try that.
Pick the lock. I'm not talking about just on the boxes that were laying around at like the landmarks or out in the open, Kirky. I'm talking about the specific supply drops, right? Supply drops incoming, and then you have a certain amount of time to run to it and stuff like that. And you get an option to either steal it or open it. And I thought even when I was solo, I've had an option to open it, but I wasn't sure. The other thing that's really weird in the Dark Zone is I was on my way to a supply drop last night, and it went red. I wasn't near it yet, but then like I got there and I'm engaging and I'm killing the enemies, so then it goes red, right? On your map, it'll show that you're engaged with it. And I heard an agent is stealing the supply drop or whatever. And I was like, oh, my motherfucker. Like, I thought there was another player there stealing my supply drop. I killed the NPC I was with. I look around, there's no other agent there. So I don't know if somebody was stealing the other one, but somehow I got a notification for it because it was a bug. Or if there was somebody there and they just got annihilated, but there was no body. Like, that's a weird thing. And so I'm really curious. I don't know if that's a bug or not, right? So I don't know if I should report it. Or, I mean, I guess I will, just because I'd rather report it and it not be a bug than it be a bug and not get reported. But yeah, I do want to do more Dark Zone today, especially solo, messing around with some of this kind of stuff, just to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, landmarks didn't seem to have as many enemies as I thought they would, and man, finding those boxes are a pain in the ass in some of them.
I thought what was pretty cool about the landmarks was how they did in some of the other ones up in DZ9 from Division 1, where they would like respawn, they'd refill, they'd reactivate themselves, like reinforce themselves. That was pretty cool.
I don't think I'd noticed that yet.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd seen that. Like,
unless we just went to it twice in a row quick. And to be honest with you, I was a little tired. So
yeah, I mean, because I remember like the Nordic DZ 789 in one, right? You would kill the enemies there, and then like all of a sudden another wave would spawn or whatever, and you'd get a couple of named, and then there was like they were more dynamic, I guess, up there, right? Because then you'd have like two factions fighting each other at some of the landmarks and stuff like that, and these just literally seem like areas with enemies. And I did see normal or hard, but I legitimately couldn't figure out a difference between them. Oh, you know what? Maybe that one that Foxhound and I did do one that yeah, it did just seem like there were enemies coming from all over the friggin' place. So maybe that was what
maybe that's what it was, not necessarily like a reinforcement. It could have just been that they were just pouring in from that area, which is kind of cool.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm curious where that's gonna go. Skirmish. Did you get a chance to mess with that at all?
Nope. That's going to be on the agenda. Skirmish is going to be on the agenda today. Specialization. I'm going to try one of those. And probably some more DZ.
Okay, yeah. Skirmish. I had some skirmish experience. I do think that there's got to be some changes in PvPs, in skirmish specifically, with some of the skills, and we'll see what happens with regular PvP. But the regular Seeker Mine is a one-shot kill at basically full health and full armor when you are in cover. That thing gets around the corner and just annihilates you, and you're done.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Or it might be full health and armor, and you're just downed. But basically, right now, everybody in skirmish, and we're limited on skills. So maybe if all the skills were open, there'd be more. But really, it's like run around. There's Seeker Mines. Some people are still using it. There's like turret and Seeker Mine. I still use the repair drone just because like I get too stupid because I don't stay in cover enough. But yeah, the turret Seeker Mine, everybody's running around with it. Of course, we don't have that many. But those things, if you get into a gunfight and somebody is in cover, launch out your secret mine. You can literally just run behind it, and by the time it hits them, 1 or 2 shots, they're dead. But I had a lot of fun with it. I feel like I'm pretty damn decent at it. So I kind of like normalization. It's the same thing. That was the
It's
other
always
thing
good when you have some success. You know what I mean? Like I said, like it helps you, enjoy the experience more. I mean, nobody likes to lose every time. Even if you lose a majority of the time, but you still get some nice wins or in confrontations, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, no, I completely, totally agree with that. I do think that the you had said it about the dark zone, but the fact that you just kill, or if you get killed, you just respawn, and get back up. Like there's none of that timer. Or at least it's not too bad. I think that feels really, really good. And I'm not sure if when you die, if it shows you what you dropped or not on your screen, because there was a time that I had stuff in my contaminated stash. Player killed me, and then I spawned. And I didn't see a thing in the lower left-hand corner or anything that said what I dropped. But I had to go into my menu, look for my contaminated stash thing, and there was nothing there. So I was like, oh, I must have dropped that. Went out, went back to where I died. There was no pillar. And I literally had to go track down the guy, kill him to figure out, yeah, dude, the guy stole my shit. So, like, it didn't tell me what I dropped or I missed it. So I'm curious if that was a bug or not. But, yeah. So, you have anything else before we wrap things up? We are getting to go. We're going to end it up probably about 2:30 this time.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, it goes without saying, first and foremost, thank you to you for your efforts this morning. I know we had some technical issues. I'm glad we were able to get those resolved. It's an ongoing process that we have, and we're going to be continuously looking to improve. And this way, too, like, things will get easier for us as we go. I appreciate you guys all coming by and interacting with the chat. I think that overall my experience again has been really good with the beta, and I'm curious to try more stuff. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we talked about a lot of awesome stuff, and everybody was great in chat again, so thank you for that. And I mean, that's really all I have, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to next week's. We'll plan out another awesome show. And, I know once the beta goes down, it'll be even more time to really kind of sit back, relax, really gather some thoughts. If anyone needs help on PS4 or PC, on Division, just for whatever, shields are still active. You can still do that. And don't be afraid to hit up Janko and myself.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to like when the game comes out. I mean, this will be fun to see now once the beta's over. I guess my final thought would be, where do we go from here in terms of buffing, nerfing, fixing bugs? Are we still on time? I hope we are, because I'm sure as anxious as everybody is for the beta and has been, I think they'll be twice as anxious for the release, and that's a great thing. So hopefully it's on time and we're ready to roll.
That's true. And you got a week to put the towels back up, so you can do some repairs to the.
Rick knows where we are. We're gonna have to go to a new spot. This spot's compromised, so we're gonna be on the move next week.
There you go.
But thank you to you, Janko, again.
Hey, thank you for being here and being a part of this with me and together. I think it's pretty freaking cool. I'm having a blast. I'm gonna talk to Hugh and see if he knows possibly any remote news locations that maybe Rick might not know about. If Velassi doesn't know about them, maybe Hugh will have some ideas of where you can hide out, but still be able to broadcast from. So
imagine that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like there might be something between Hugh and Rick, man. Hugh doesn't really
a little co-conspiracy theory. I like it.
Yeah, there might be something between the two. If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, there's a news anchor that shows up from time to time in my chat named Hugh Houston, and I think he may have an issue with Rick Velassi, but he's recovering from a heart attack right now, so I can't really hit him up with anything like that.
No, you gotta let him rest.
But yeah, thank you again, Johnny, for another week.
Sure,
everybody
man.
in chat, thank you guys so much, especially those of you that have been here from the beginning of the show. Like, I know that the beta's going on, so like everybody wants to be playing and stuff like that. So I really, really appreciate
thank you for sharing
you guys and your activity and just being here and everything else. So thank you guys very much for that. Please, before you go, if you haven't hit the follow button yet and you did like this, please do. That way you can get notified when we go live. We'll be live again next Saturday at 11 a.m. Right here. And we will probably be doing some post-beta thoughts and where we go from here as far as, what we're going to play from moving forward. Because, man, is it going to be tough to go back to the Division after playing this.
It's got to be.
Yeah, and then I've got another week between that and when Anthem actually launches, so it's gonna, but anyway, we'll figure that out. But definitely check out if you have like this or either of us, our links are down below. Please click those so that you guys can follow us. We stream individually way more than this show goes, so you can definitely get more of both of us down in those links below. And if you missed last week's episode, or if you're just popping in right now, there's also a link below for my YouTube channel. And this episode will be uploaded probably Monday. Unfortunately, with the time it takes to do it and everything else, I was trying to do them on Sundays. It might be Sunday, but then that means I can't stream tonight because then my computer's tied up. So it'll definitely be up by Monday at noon. So nice. Johnny, any last words?
Buff the running. No.
It's always going to come back to that, guy.
It's going to come back to that. No, enjoy the game, honestly, because we only have a little bit more time. Look for me on PC later. And, thank you to Janko and everybody for coming by. I'm having a blast with this, man. Thank you.
Do you know what time you're going live yet tonight?
I don't. I'll probably tweet it out. I'm going to try to get some lunch and kind of find a new location to broadcast from, and then we'll go from there.
Rock on. I will also be streaming later tonight. I'm not sure exactly what time, probably 8 or 9, but my daughter's having the first sleepover of her life, so I'm petrified about that. So it all depends on what time they get here and all that. Probably 8 or 9, that's generally what time I go live, but we'll see. So you can follow me on Twitter and get that too. So we will see you guys later. I love you guys. You guys fucking rock. And got one last swearing for the day. We're going to roll the credits, and we'll see you guys next week, man. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and I can't wait for next week. See y'all in the dark.
Let's go, boys! Hey, guys.